Matt Laporta, he was the big guy in the CC Sabathia deal from Milwaukee. He's in left. Valbuena is your second baseman. Jamie Carroll, veteran infielders, over at third, and David Huff, the young left-handed pitcher, bats in the number 9 position. And Homer is back, Chris.
Well, Homer is back, George, and that's big news around Cincinnati. It was somewhat of a controversy in spring training when he and Michael Owings went right down to the wire to see who would be the number 5 starter in the rotation. Homer went down to AAA, and he had some very good games down there, including a shutout. Also had a game in which he punched out 15 batters in only 6 1/3 innings. And he also had some games down in Louisville where he got banged around a little bit. But in talking to Teddy Power and some other folks that have seen him pitch down in AAA, George, I can tell you that they say that his command is much better. This will be a little different Homer Bailey. He's more mature in the way he approaches the game, especially his game of pitching, than he has in the past. Hopefully he'll be here to stay.
He'll face off against Huff. The two of them have met each other twice in AAA this year. Neither one of them pitched especially effectively in either game, but they're both going to face each other, so they're no strangers to each other tonight. Homer ready to go to work. Asdrubal Cabrera, Grady Sizemore, and Victor Martinez. And guess what? Number 19's back in the lineup, Chris. It was good to see him out taking ground balls, ready to go. And nice to see the smile back on his face.
Yeah, you know, it's the first time we've seen that smile because, you know, when he was down, he was really mentally down. He was out of the lineup. He didn't feel right. He just wasn't sure what was going on. And you could tell something was really bothering him. That's a genuine smile. He is happy to be back. And I'll tell you what, this lineup is not the same without Joey Votto in it.
He missed 10 starts with a combination of the flu and that dizziness that afflicted him, but he's back in the lineup tonight. Here's Cabrera, who's been spending most of the time at short for the Indians of late. He played second last night as Eric Wedge tried to get some offense into the lineup. A brilliant young shortstop out of Venezuela. Sizemore will follow, and then Victor Martinez. And here's the key for Homer Bailey, Chris. Throwing strikes, he's off to a 2-ball, no-strike count.
Well, it's the biggest adjustment that any youngster makes coming up from the minor leagues to the major leagues, other than having to face guys like Albert Pujols, is the strike zone. It's a little smaller up here, and there's no doubt about it.
That's right in there for a strike. Rob Drake is your home plate umpire for tonight. Mark Wegner's down at first. Tim Timmons is out at second, and Jeff Kellogg is your third base umpire for tonight. There's the 2-1. In the coaches' boxes for the Indians tonight. This is a veteran Indians group. Luis Rivera, former major league infielder. He's the main man down at first base. Rivera, outstanding major league infielder and a guy who's been a key to the development of this club for many years. And down at third, Joel Skinner, the veteran coach. Here's your Ford defensive alignment for the Reds. Cincinnati comes in 12th in the league in defense. They've committed 30 errors this year. Your Ford defensive alignment has Gomes over in left, the speedy Willie Taveras in center, and Jay Bruce in right. Jerry Hairston Jr. is back at third. Gonzalez, who had a brilliant defensive game last night at short. Brandon Phillips at second. Votto back at first. And Ramon Hernandez behind the plate for Homer Bailey. That is your Ford defensive alignment. Well, whenever Bronson Arroyo needed it, he got it last night, meaning a double play. He rolled up ground balls, and Phillips and Gonzalez turned it into 3 double plays that helped the Reds to a victory 3-1 over the Indians last evening. Here's Sizemore. Grady struggling coming in at 213, but last night he had 2 hits, including his 8th home run of the year. Not comfortable territory for this brilliant young outfielder. He's a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, one of the fine impact players of the league. Will be back in the leadoff spot sooner or later, but right now they're trying to get him on track, so they've got him hitting in the number 2 spot. Middle of the infield, double play depth for Bailey, who works from the strike. And this, Chris, is one of the keys for Homer Bailey. Teddy Powers worked with him. Rick Sweet has worked with him to hold runners better and stop the running game.
Well, right now he's got to work on his composure because he feels like he's thrown a few strikes in there. And right now Rob Drake is not seeing the same strike zone that Homer Bailey is. If he's missing, he is missing by just inches down there. I mean, or less than that. Those pitches look right there.
That's a strike, 2-1. Sizemore, last 4 years he's been a 20-20 guy, meaning 20 or more homers, 20 or more stolen bases. Last year he was a 30-30 performer. So he's got power and he's got speed too. Cabrera, good speed down at first. In the air to left. Gomes battling the Suns. Got a long run. Can he get there? How about Gonzalez? He comes out of nowhere and hauls it in. Alex Gonzalez turned around, Chris, and saw that Gomes had no chance to get there. Boy, it was like he was shot out of a cannon to get there.
Well, the guys on the left side of the infield are going to have to play a little bit more in the outfield because Gomes doesn't have the kind of range that Darnell McDonald or Dickerson or even Nix has. But look at Gonzalez. Here's a guy that had a bad knee. Remember, he missed all of last year with a broken knee. And he is boot scooting it out in the shallow left field to make that overhead catch. That's a great play.
Boy, he saves at least first and second, maybe second and third if he doesn't get to that. So there's your first out, the runner back to first. He had a brilliant defensive night last night, and he starts it off even better tonight. One away. Here's Victor Martinez, the switch hitting catcher who leads the American League in hitting. He came in yesterday at 400. Had an 0 for night, so he's down to 391. That's still no chopped liver. He also leads the league in on-base percentage. The Indians, one of the best on-base percentage teams in the American League. They're 5th in the league in that category.
George, actually tonight we have the 2 major league leaders in on-base percentage. Joey Votto leads all of Major League Baseball, and Victor Martinez is second.
On-base percentage, something the Indians have been able to do well. They have not pitched well. Their starting pitching has been horrible. Their bullpen has been worse. But they've been able to score runs, and you expect them to score runs all year long. 1 ball, no strikes. Bailey behind the 3rd straight batter in the first, and this guy you don't want to get behind on. 7 homers, 30 knocked in.
Well, you're right about not wanting to get behind Victor Martinez because he's among the best hitters in all of baseball when you start off with a ball in a count, and that was a 1-0 count before Homer Bailey put that 1 strike in there.
One ball, 1 strike. Good move, and he can't get the tag down. It was a great move by Bailey. He had Cabrera leaning, but he just did get the hand back in.
Votto dropped the ball.
Looked like the hand might have knocked it out of the glove. One again. Setting up down and away is Hernandez. That clips the corner, and it's 1-2. Martinez steps out, peers down at Joel Skinner, rolls through some signs for him in the 3rd base box. Eric Wedge plays pretty much a standard American League game. This is a power-laden lineup, even with Travis Hafner not in it, and the Indians do hope to get Hafner back. He's been on the disabled list with that recurring shoulder difficulty. But once in a while he'll roll the dice when he's ahead in the count. 1-2, you don't expect him to send a runner here. Hernandez peers in for a sign from his bench, flashes it to Bailey. There goes the runner, fouled off.
Well, they're thinking about maybe a breaking ball on that count, George. Not really usually a good count to send a runner on a 1-2 count, unless you think that you're going to get a breaking ball. And that's what Homer Bailey and Ramon Hernandez decided on. And if you're watching Bailey, you're going to see a little different approach right now. He seems to be favoring his slider more than his curveball. And his slider at home will come in somewhere in the mid-80s. His curveball will be slower than that. So it'll be fewer curveballs tonight than sliders, and it'll probably give him a better chance to throw a runner out.
1-2 the count. Runner not going. Slap foul to the left side and out of play. On the scoreboard today, the Yankees beat the Phillies 5-4. They won it in the 9th inning, a comeback victory for New York, 5-4. Barris gets the win. So the Yankees, maybe the magic is back at Yankee Stadium, a place that's given up over 80 home runs already, a quarter of the way through the season. They're on a pace to give up over 300 home runs at that ballpark. Mark Wagner telling us 316 to be exact. Who else would know better than Wags, right? Swing and a miss. Good spot, good velocity. And there's strikeout number 1.
We've got a major discrepancy between our radar gun, which registered this one at 88 miles an hour, and the stadium gun, which is at 94. I'll have to go with the 94. Victor Martinez probably agrees right there. That is some high heat. And the hottest hitter in the American League cannot catch up to it.
So 2 away, and here's Chu, the right fielder. Shin-Soo Choo. Also an interleague play. Mets lead Boston 1-0 in the first. All their finals, Texas beat Houston 6-3. Cardinals won again 5-0 over Kansas City. Kyle Loesch gets the win, his 4th of the year. Toronto and Atlanta scoreless in the first. Tampa Bay, Florida scoreless in the first. And Baltimore and Washington are scoreless in the second. Start of play today with the Reds win last night. Cincinnati now only 3.5 games back of Milwaukee. The Cardinals are back to within 1. There goes the runner. Pitch inside. They got a shot at him, and he's a dead duck. Ramon Hernandez, a job well done, and an impressive performance by Bailey. He keeps the runner close, and they nail down a potential stolen base. We go to the bottom of 1. Let's check Dusty Baker's starting lineup for game 2 of the 3-game set. Willie Taveras back in the leadoff spot. Jerry Hairston Jr. will bat second. And good to see V back. Joey Votto's in the number 3 spot. Brandon Phillips will hit cleanup. Johnny Gomes gets the start in left with the left-hander going. Jay Bruce, Ramon Hernandez, Alex Gonzalez, and Homer Bailey bats in the number 9 position. That is your Cincinnati Reds starting lineup. And here is the young left-hander.
Well, he's 24 years old. George out of UCLA. He was the number 1 draft pick for the Cleveland Indians back in 2007. As a number of the supplemental pick, I guess, which gave them 2 picks in the first round. He's a guy that is not an overpowering left-hander by any means. He normally has pretty good control. You're looking at his numbers from his major league debut, and that was his last time out against Tampa Bay. And in talking to the Indians people, they're telling me that he was so nervous in that ball game, you really didn't get to see the real David Huff. Maybe we will tonight. If you do see the real one, he'll be around the strike zone. Mediocre fastball, 88 to 90 miles an hour, good slider, and a very good changeup.
So Huff is ready to go to work, and here's Taveras. Willie was out early today working on his bunting with Chris Spire and Brooke Jacoby to try to maximize his ability to ignite this offense. And it's very clear on a team that does not have the power that it's had in years past, if the Reds are going to produce some runs, they're going to have to do it in different ways. Here's a bloop into right. Chu comes in, he'll haul it in, and Taveras is retired for the first out. Here's your fourth defensive alignment for the Indians. Cleveland comes in 6th in the American League in defense. Their defense tonight has Matt Laporta over in left, Brady Sizemore, Gold Glove caliber in center, and Chu over in right. Jamie Carroll, who's solid anywhere in the infield. Cabrera is back to short. Valbuena's your second baseman. DeRosa, who can play first, second, third, or the outfields at first, and Victor Martinez behind the plate. That's your fourth defensive alignment. The Reds plan to utilize the running game with Martinez forced to play behind the plate. In the American League games, he would either play first or DH a good chunk of the time. Does not hold runners well and does not throw runners out well. With a lefty, and Chris, that's one of the keys to a left-hander against this Reds running lineup. They haven't really seen his move very much.
Yeah, you know what, George, and I think the only guy in the lineup that really works at it that hard is Willie Taveras. Everybody else who goes, it seems like we're going to go on the first move a left-hander has. But first you got to get him on base.
Big swing and a pop-up in the infield. Here comes Carroll. He'll take charge. Got it 2 away. Listen to the round of applause this guy's going to get. That's for Joey Votto, who missed 10 starts due to the combination of the flu bug and then the dizziness that he experienced. Big swing for Joey, and there's strike 1. Votto in at 366, 5 homers, 27 knocked in.
I don't know how to explain that number right there, but he's 0-1 right now, and he's 5 for 6. But that computes to 833.
Those are the kind of stats you don't want to ask about. You just keep rolling them.
It's so off the wall we had to show it to you. You can take all the batting practice you want, George. You can go in the cage. They have a machine down there that simulates pitching with a video, you know, and everything. And until you get live major league pitching, it's just not the same. So it's very difficult to expect Joey Votto to come right out of the chute after missing all these games and be back into game rhythm. But if you're David Huff, you're not thinking that. All you know is that you've sat through the scouting report on Joey Votto, and they're telling you the guy can mash any fastball. You better not get the ball up. You better not hang it inside. You better hit your spot low and away, or else. And sometimes it takes the aggressiveness away from a pitcher when you go and hear that kind of a report.
Just missing inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Left center, hit pretty good. Going back, looking up. Welcome back, Joey Votto. A home run. How about number 19? And the Reds lead it 1-0. Unbelievable, Chris. That smile tells it all, doesn't it?
Take Joey Votto a while to get his timing. 5 pitches, and on the 6th one, he's got it figured out.
There you go. They kind of iced him for a little while. Now they hop off the bench. Oh yeah, another homer. And then they give him some love, and rightly so. Nobody happier than number 19 to be back in the lineup, and what a way to come back. That deserves another look.
I'll tell you what, a solid swing by Joey Votto. 3-2 count. Now when he takes that pitch, which is not all that bad of a pitch, it got the outer third of the plate. a little bit above the knees and takes it the other way over the 380 mark. Outstanding.
He's the kind of guy that makes hitting coaches smart, doesn't he? There's Jay Bruce next to him, too.
Well, you really got to let the ball travel deep in order to be able to hit it like that with that kind of authority.
So Votto's homer is 6th of the year. 28 runs batted in. Has given the Reds a lead, and it's given him some peace of mind. Yes, sirree. It feels good to be back. What a great young man, and a pretty fine hitter too. Okay, guys, that's enough. Just leave me alone now, right? That's what he's saying. There's a bouncer wide of first. DeRosa flips it over, and not in time. Phillips will be safe. Brandon Phillips legs it out, and the Reds have 2 out Lightning, a homer and an infield hit.
Well, the rookie mistake right here, not getting over to first base immediately. I mean, he turned and he ran, but you've got to take a better line to first base. The throw by the first baseman, DeRosa, held him up a little bit, and that may be the difference here between being safe and out at first. But still, the kind of the circular route that he took to first base cost him, and boy, Brandon Phillips burning down the line. I mean, he is just playing as hard as we have ever seen him over a prolonged period of time, and it's really beginning to show, having a terrific month of May.
And that month of May went up an even bigger notch today. They dedicated Brandon Phillips Field, located at the Clark Montessori School on Winton Ridge Lane in Cincinnati. What a special day it was today. Gold Glove second baseman was there. His mom was there. His dad was there. His sister Portia there. All part of the Reds Community Fund effort in the RBI program. Brandon contributed over $32,000 for the project. And that was a great day. So many wonderful people out there who were a part of it. Brandon spent a good portion of the morning and the early afternoon, signed every autograph that everybody in town wanted to get a piece of him, and they all got a piece of him, and with that patented smile, he won a lot of folks over. There's a pop up to the right side. DeRosa give and chase. He's got room, and that'll do it. But not before the Reds do some business. Welcome back, Joey. Home run number 6. The Reds lead at 1-0. Pitch selection, get ahead of the count as a pitcher and as a hitter. And for Jay Bruce, that's what he's trying to do and get out of a mini funk for him. Swing at strikes, not at balls, and averaging 5.3 plate appearances per strikeout, and he's missed on just about 24% of his swings. The major league average is around 20%.
You know, and that's not all that bad. Remember, he's a youngster. He's a slugger too. They're going to swing and miss more often than more veteran players usually. But what you hate to do is see him up there swinging early in the count, chasing pitches that really aren't his pitch. And when you get anxious and when you get frustrated, you find yourself in a slump. They say, hey, the only way you're going to get out of it, Jay, is swing your way out of it. But it doesn't mean you have to swing at everything that comes up there. That's very easy said up here at a third deck. A lot tougher when you're in the batter's box.
In the batter's box right now is Shin-Soo Choo, the right fielder. Choo last night had an 0 for 4 night. Hit one of the warning track that the center fielder Tavares tracked down. Pretty good year for him this year. 274 in April. Got off to a good start. A year ago he got off to a rather slow start. He'll take a walk. Ranks 5th in the American League in base on balls. So with the power guys behind him most of the time, he's had the opportunity to give them a chance to score runs, and this Indians offense does score runs. You see April pretty good, May even better. Hey Chris, you've heard a lot about players that have come over from Korea and Japan who have underachieved, and the Indians are very happy with this guy. He's overachieved from what they originally expected.
Well, you got to love the way he's getting on base. 415 on base percentage. That is just outstanding.
There's another walk. 29th walk of the season for Choo, and there's a leadoff walk in the first. That was a race with a caught stealing, and here's another leadoff walk issued by Homer, unhappy with himself, and the leadoff hitter's on here in the second.
Well, don't go to sleep with Choo at first base because he's stolen 6 bases. You give him a chance. And one thing the Indians just may try to do is push the running game a little bit, because that is still part of the game that Homer Bailey has yet to figure out. How to hold runners close. He's got a quick move to first, but he's still rather deliberate to the plate when he doesn't use the slide step.
Here's DeRosa, and this is an Indian team that is right about on a par with the Reds. They have stolen 29 bases. They're currently 4th in the American League. Of course, Grady Sizemore, you bank on him for 20 to 30 stolen bases a year. His numbers are right about on that pace, but he's been caught more often than not this year. He's been about a 50-50 stolen base guy. Usually he's about a 75% operative. Here's DeRosa last night, 1 for 3. He's had great numbers against the Reds throughout his career. Coming in over 350, 6 homers, 29 knocked in against Cincinnati. This one hit a ton to left center field. All Tavares will do is turn around and look, and that's about in the same spot that Joey Votto's was. And the walk will come back to haunt Bailey. A 2-run homer, and the Indians take the lead 2-1. 7th homer for DeRosa. And against the Reds in his career, his 7th home run as well.
Well, DeRosa must think he's back with the Cubs, because this is the way he used to treat Reds pitching when he was with the Chicago Cubs. But he gets a fastball that Homer Bailey misses his spot. It kind of floats over the inner part of the plate, and DeRosa drops the head. Sounded great coming off the bat, and it's not coming back.
DeRosa over from the Cubs, off to a subpar month of April, trying to get it untracked here in May, and that swing certainly will help him do that. 2-1 Indians, and here's Matt Laporta. Speaking of a fine young hitter, the Milwaukee organization, of course, came up with Ryan Braun, who burst upon the scene, and Chris, we've marveled at him. And they also had, down in the minor leagues at the same time, Matt Laporta, a guy who was a finalist for Player of the Year in college baseball, the Golden Spikes Award. And when they wanted to get CC Sabathia last year, if the Indians were going to make a deal, they would have to give up this guy. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. It'll curve foul and go out of play.
Well, he's got immense power, does Laporta. He also, like Ryan Braun, is a #1 draft pick. He came out of the University of Florida, very polished. In fact, they grabbed him in 2007. So he is just about right out of college. Laporta is, with 1 full minor league season under his belt.
74 homers in college. That's in the top 10 list all time of college baseball.
And he had 22 home runs last year between AA and AAA. Most of them that in AA, but You know, when the Brewers ended up trying to get CC Sabathia to make that run that they had towards the end of the season to the playoffs, they had to give up some important talent, and Laporta was the key guy.
And when the phone call came, Mark Shapiro, the general manager, listed this guy at the top of the list, and they got him. Now, the other part of that package is you would project Braun possibly as a first baseman, Laporta as a first baseman, and they had, oh, that other guy, Prince Fielder. They moved Braun to third, and this year they moved him to left in Milwaukee. And that's the way you draft. I mean, you don't necessarily draft on the basis of where you're going to put somebody. You draft on their ability. Now, Yonder Alonso's in the same category for the Reds. Where are you going to play him? Is he going to take over for Joey Votto at first? Who knows? He may end up playing at the major league level, or he may be part of a deal to get something that you do need. That's the philosophy of drafting the best player available. Line drive. Phillips can't get it. Nice swing.
That's a nice bit of hitting for a youngster right there. He took a slider after just barely staying alive by being on a fastball. He took a nice slider from Homer Bailey and just took that ball to right field. That is a nasty pitch right there. And Laporta looks like he's been up here 10 years.
So a walk, a homer, and a single. Bailey is yet to retire a batter here in the second. And here's the speedy young second baseman, Luis Valbuena. Good bunter, so you never know what they may do with him, and he shows bunt there. He waves at Joel Skinner to roll through the signs one more time, and Skinner does. Eric Wedge saying he understands he's got pitching problems, and we saw it early when he ran 1 and 2. He's going to try to create runs any way he can. Big swing and a fly ball to right center. Not what Valbuena wanted, not what his manager wanted either, and the Reds finally get an out here in the second. So 1 away. Here's the number 8 hitter, Jamie Carroll. Carroll originally came up in the Montreal organization, and Chris seems like he's been around forever. He didn't come up till he was 28 years of age, but boy, what a solid utility guy. Wherever you put him, he'll give you good defense, give you a good at bat as well, and off to a good start this year overall. Injury bug has bitten him a couple of times in recent years. Last year 113 games and hit nearly 280. He'll start at second or third, play around the infield, and give you solid defense wherever you put him.
Yeah, he's fashioned himself a pretty nice major league career for a guy that, you know, a lot of scouts would overlook. After all, he's only 5 feet 9 inches tall. He might be 165 pounds, maybe. He's working on 10 years as a big leaguer.
Not afraid to choke up, punch at the ball, especially when he gets behind in the count.
Doesn't strike out much. He's only struck out once this year. Of course, he's only been up 16 times, but still, contact hitter all the way.
2-1.
Homer like a contact ground ball right here.
And this is where the concept of throwing that slider is so critical to get a ground ball in a double play situation.
Yeah, George, you're exactly right. The slider's a perfect pitch for that, especially if you've got a right-hander that might be pulling off the ball a little bit, or that down and in two-seam fastball. That's what Bronson Arroyo used very successfully last night to get all 3 of his ground ball double plays.
Fouled off his foot.
Just like that.
A little ouch once in a while is good.
Well, there's good action on that fastball. You know, when Homer Bailey first came up a couple of years ago and he made his debut against the Indians, he was primarily a 4-seam fastball pitcher with a big overhand curveball, and he's now gotten away from quite a bit of that. His pitch of choice as far as breaking ball seems to be more the slider than the curve. He hasn't thrown as many changeups, and he's throwing a lot more two-seam fastballs down around the knees than the high one.
That's ball 4. Second walk in the inning. Carroll will march down to first, and that'll bring up the pitcher David Huff.
You know, the Indians might be struggling in the wins and losses, but they certainly are still a lineup filled with a lot of really good hitters. And as you look through the lineup as a pitcher, you can break it into thirds. And when you get down to the bottom third of any major league lineup, and especially in the National League, when you're in a National League park like this with no DH, you've got to bury those guys at the bottom of the order. And you cannot walk your number 8 hitter just to be able to pitch to the pitcher, because unless you get this guy to get into a double play ball, you turn that lineup over, and it gets awfully tough when you get the Sizemore, Martinez, and Chu.
First and third in tight with 1 out. Reds expecting a bunt. And we've talked a lot. That slips out of Hernandez's hands.
It's too bad because they had the runner dead to rights. Laporta was way off the second base right there. They had a special play on, the Reds did. They had Joey Votto tracking in here, and he's supposed to field everything that comes into this area right here that Homer Bailey can't get to. And they're going to have the third baseman hold at third and get that force play down. Same play again. And that's a great bunt.
Good bunt by Huff. They'll get the out at first, but a successful sacrifice. Well, if you're an American League team and you got a rookie pitcher and you come up with a bunt like that, you're going to be happy. Eric Wedge and Carl Willis will give him high fives when he gets to the bench.
Well, that was the only thing that he could do to stay out of a trap. You got Joey Votto crashing, you've got Homer Bailey coming in hard, and Jerry Harrison is supposed to stay at third base unless the bunt is so good it comes down the third base line and he's the only one there to field it. And that's exactly what happened. That's a pretty fine looking bunt right there for a young man that probably hasn't done it very often.
You win some friends among your teammates with that. Now with 2 away, second and third, back to the top of the order, Cabrera, who walked and was caught stealing in the first. Ball to Cabrera. Carroll and Laporta on second and third, and Bailey out of the stretch trying to wriggle out of a jam for the second straight inning. That just misses.
I'll tell you, when Bailey misses so far tonight, George, he's not missing by much. Just off the plate in the first inning with his fastball, just down below the strike zone on a couple of pitches. Trying not to give in. Maybe being a little too careful. You know, it's a fine line that pitchers walk between being aggressive and trying to throw first pitch strikes and piping first pitch fastballs right down Broadway. But if you get too particular and try to hit the corners and then you start missing, then you get yourselves in hitters counts, and that's where he's been with the majority of this hitting lineup so far.
Giddy up on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Need a strikeout here.
Ended the first with a strikeout of Victor Martinez. He'd love to duplicate it here. Hernandez rolls through the signs twice, then finally Cabrera steps out.
Yeah, and so far Homer Bailey and Hernandez not quite on the same page, especially with a runner on second base when they have to flash through the series of signs.
That's a bouncer into center. 1 run will score. Rounding second, coming home will be Carroll. He'll score 2, and a 2-out base hit cashes in 2 more. And the Indians now lead it 4-1.
The pitch was a fastball on a 2-2 count that Homer Bailey evidently shook off something else to get to and tried to come right in there. Looked like maybe a four-seamer that he was cutting in on the hands, and Cabrera just strong enough to get it through the infield for a base hit, softly enough that will score both runs.
Damage control. Out goes Dinkle to try to settle down his big, tall, young right-hander.
You know, he might be telling him right there, saying, listen, I know that you and Hernandez are maybe not seeing the same pitch selection right now, but Hernandez is our catcher, and he's been up here. Why don't you just go with what Ramon calls for a while and see what happens? Believe in what the catcher says for you. You know, you never want to take the autonomy away from a pitcher to be able to decide what he wants to throw on his own, but sometimes you should defer to experience.
That's a strike. Well, here's Sizemore, popped up first time up. 8th batter of the inning here in the second. A walk, a homer, a single, a walk, and a single. Added up, the Indians have put a 4 spot on the board in the second and lead it 4-1. Setting up away again. A strike.
That's a slider.
2 innings of work. Here's the 50th pitch of the night. Right down to Votto. Will tap the bag, but 8 come to the plate in the second. The Indians score 4 and lead it 4-1. Jay Bruce.
Votto.com. By JTM. Food, family, fun. JTM. And by Jeep. You talk, we listen. It's a new day. Have fun out there. Jeep.
Great to have you with us at Great American Ballpark. Beautiful night for baseball. Just about a sellout crowd, it looks like, tonight here at Great American Ballpark. Reds jumped off to a 1-0 lead on Joey Votto's homer, but the Indians bounced back with 4 of their own in the second, and they lead it 4-1. We go to the bottom of 2. Jay Bruce, Ramon Hernandez, Alex Gonzalez due up for Cincinnati to face the young left-hander David Huff. There's a pop-up behind home plate. Martinez can't get to it. We had a chance to show you the ceremonial first pitch tonight from Alex Dinkle, the 18-year-old from Covington Catholic High School, who's been so much a part of our lives of late, diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma bone cancer, and seems like a long time ago, Alex, but in the same respect, you live it every day of your life. It's so great to see you back at the ballpark and doing well, man.
Feels good to be here. I mean, 2 years ago, I was sitting in a hospital bed watching these games from TV with Dad, and now back at them. I mean, it's hard. They don't let you really leave the hospital much. It's always locked up and can't go out around people, so it definitely is always a pleasure to come out to a Reds game.
Great to
how'd it feel to get out there on a big league mound?
Awesome. Awesome. I haven't, oh God, last time I was out on the mound was last year, and I'll be heading back out into the mound next Wednesday when I head off to Kansas to go play collegiate ball, so I'm really excited to get back out on the mound.
Here's your pitch. Now, this is pretty good form. Tell us about this guy you had catching for you.
That guy?
He got down, but couldn't get up.
He's been my catcher for about 12 years. He's got some bumps and bruises on the legs from me, but he handles it well.
That's your dad, Tom. Outstanding moment for all of us. I know for you it had to be pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's a big step because of the foundation and everything that we've been doing. And you know, you show kids that, hey, you can beat a disease. It's not going to take your life. You can go out there and do a first pitch. I mean, there's life after cancer. There's still normal life to live. And, you know, that's what I want to try to show tonight was you can still have a normal life once you're done with chemo.
There's so many, not just young people, so many people that have had to battle cancer, all forms of cancer. What do you say to them about reaching down within yourself to fight, to battle?
You know, doctors will tell you that you're never going to be able to do this again. You're never going to be able to do that. I mean, I've been told I'm not allowed to play football again. I mean, that was hard to hear after a state championship win that year. And, you know, they said you might not be able to ever get back out on a mound. You sit there and you say, you know what, I'm going to tell you no, because I'm going to beat the odds. I'm going to be the best to ever go through it, and I'm going to do it better than anybody else has done. And that's what my motivation was. I wanted to motivate myself to be the best to ever go through cancer, chemo, surgeries, you name it. I wanted to be the best. And, well, I'm on my way.
You've done a pretty good job.
I'm on my way. So it's been a long, long road. It's been brutal. I mean, the scars show it, but you know, I've come a long way from it and learned a lot of lessons, and it's really helped me grow to who I am now. And I try to help anybody that I can, whether they're young or old, you know, going through a tough time.
You've learned a lot of lessons, and you've taught us a lot of lessons too.
Thank you. I've tried to help. It's, you know, at the foundation, we've tried to get back to the great teams at Children's Hospital who helped me so much, and their special needs programs to help, you know, families who can't get in here, families that don't have money to pay for a meal or pay for anything. Oh, get out.
Big swing, Ramon. That's going way back. Guess what? The Reds have dialed deep for the second time tonight. Ramon Hernandez, second homer. And the Reds have inched closer, a two-run shot. It's a 4-3 ball game. That sounded good, didn't it?
That sounded great. That's a shot.
Well, you knew Ramon Hernandez was seeing the ball pretty well off of David Huff because of the previous pitch. He fouled off down the left field line and took a big swing doing it. He doesn't normally swing that big unless he really has a good look at it, and you knew he was going to get a pitch to hit. And boy, he hit a double-decker right there, George. That is way back up there.
Second deck bomb for Ramon. His second homer. There's a shot off Alex Gonzalez's bat into center field. A walk, a homer, and a base hit by Alex, who had 3 big hits last night. Maybe you brought him some luck here.
I hope. Feel bad for the lefty out there.
Alex, anybody in particular over at the Children's Hospital that you'd like to thank or acknowledge? I know there's a whole team. You know, it seems like, I'm sure, month after month, different people that have been so much, but I'm sure you've got your favorites.
Dr. James Geller, my oncologist, he was tremendous. All the oncologists who all help. I mean, there's so many, you know, oncologists on call. Everybody's on call for this and that. There's, like you said, there's too many to name, but Dr. Francesco Mangano, who sat through and did my 18-hour brain surgery. Dr. Ravi Sami, who did my nerve grafting. I mean, my face is coming back now.
It's tremendous. It's amazing.
I mean, when I first had it, I mean, I couldn't even move my face, and it's come a long way since then. He did a great job, and all my doctors have been great. Nurses, every single one. There's just so many people to name, and you can't truly name everybody. I mean, Dr. Timothy Nylans, who's my cardiologist, who's kept me alive now since August with this defibrillator in my chest. So I have to thank all those guys on the cardiology and oncology and neurology and on every floor at Children's Hospital. We kind of did it in orderly fashion. I started at the 7th floor in neurology, went to the lungs floor and 6th floor, and then 5th, stayed there for hematology and oncology, and then ended up on the 4th for cardiology. And then we ended up on the 3rd for ICU. So we visited every little part of Children's Hospital.
You know, some people go through what you've gone through, leave the hospital, never return, but you're kind of dedicating your life to give back, aren't you?
I've learned so much and learned to respect the people who kept me going. And, you know, when you meet a nurse or a doctor or somebody who says, you know, I've gone through cancer myself, I mean, and you hear what they have to say, I mean, that truly motivates you. It's like, look, they're alive. They're this so far out. And I've kind of put some thought into it, and I was like, you know what? I want to study this. I want to learn more about this, and I want to give back to the people who've helped me so much. And that's what I hope to do in the fall. I want to become a nurse. I want to become a pediatric nurse.
That's
and
fantastic.
I want to just study away and give back like people at Children's Hospital gave to me. So I hope I can do that. I hope I can make it through the long, strenuous schooling of that.
You've made giant strides already.
Try.
Reds are making some strides here. The home run measured at 441 feet by Ramon Hernandez has made it a 4-3 game. Bailey strikes out. Back to the top of the order. Willie Taveras, who flied out first time up. It's been kind of amazing, Chris, to watch the road that Alex has traveled, and to have him back here today is about as special a day as we've ever had up here. Huh?
George, you know, this is the best smile I've seen him have, and his dad have especially. I mean, you know, we've seen your dad around a lot more than you have, of course, Alex, because you were confined over there at Children's for so long, but he's kept us updated. And I'll tell you what, tears of joy came out of his eyes today when he caught that pitch. And maybe those are tears of pain because you threw that fastball in there pretty good.
I don't know. It might have been.
Did you debate whether to throw the split finger or
I decided whether or not to throw the cutter or just the normal fastball. Whether to make him guess or not. But yeah, my parents have definitely been my main supporters. I think that was the best support system I could have had was my family. My dad, my mom.
Your mom, Jenny, so much a part of every step of the road for you, too.
Talk about somebody who jumped on a doctor when you needed them to, when you needed them to get this medicine in you. Hey, we're starting chemo. We're getting this done. I mean, come on, people, let's get it together. And she took care of all my medicine, made sure everything was fine, knew if something was wrong with me. She was incredible. It was impeccable what they did. And
that's a mom. That's
a mom, exactly. And my dad was there for me in every way that he could be. I mean, me and him just sat here and watched Reds games all night and just enjoying it. And remember that year, the 8th inning come on, and be like, oh, turn it off. Why, Dad? Game's not going to look good from this. Watch SportsCenter next day. Oh, yeah.
Tell us about the Alex Dinkle Foundation.
Well, the foundation in itself, I've wanted to give back to so many kids who are diagnosed with pediatric cancer. So many more have been diagnosed in the northern Kentucky area, and it's getting to an amount where it's becoming a situation that is starting to break loose, and more people are going to Children's Hospital. And I've wanted to start this foundation to kind of help those families, whether it be with money problems, anything. Try to
ground ball down to third. They'll get the Force at second, but there's no way they'll get Taveras at first. Second out of the inning.
Have to stop and watch. Always have to.
All right.
But I wanted to try and help out in their special needs program, where helps with families with gas money, getting to the hospital to get your treatments done, food, to have a meal to eat while you're there. I mean, there's so many things that the special needs program helps out with, and it's things that are necessities for families when you're up at the hospital. So we've tried to give back in any way that we could to Children's Hospital and the teams up there, and help out the people who've been so great to me. Get it.
Harrison will get on with a base hit. The Reds have 2 on with 2 outs here in the second.
All right, Alex, for those people out here who are watching you and listening to your very moving story, how can they help you and your foundation?
Well, you can go to alexdinklefoundation.com I think.
Yep.
Yeah, .org.
www.alexdinklefoundation.org.
And you can either donate or just look at the website in a whole. We have so many things coming up. A tennis event coming up in July at 5 Seasons in Northern Kentucky to help, pediatric cancer, everything. I mean, there's so many ways to help out, and donations, anything would help. I mean, it's a good cause. We're trying to help kids who really need it, kids who want to go on and live their lives and have that normal life back. I mean, kids are stripped of their normal everyday things when they're diagnosed with cancer, and we want to really give back to those people who deserve it. So
you're making some major steps, and you've made some major steps in your recovery, and these steps are even more impressive, Alex. Congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you both for helping out at all the numerous things, foundations. That,
we love you, you know that.
Oh, stop it. Make me blush.
How about this guy at the plate? You had some fun watching him, huh?
Oh,
Joey
yeah.
Votto?
Joey Votto, man. He is. There it is again.
How about this? 2 at-bats, 2 bombs from Joey Votto. The Reds have regained the lead. Listen to the round of applause he'll get.
What to say about Joey Votto?
Wow.
That's about all you can say, huh? Wow.
Yeah. That's a shit.
You know they're going to want a curtain call from number 19. Third multi-homer game for Joey. And this is the most impressive one. After missing 10 starts due to the flu and the dizzy spells, he comes back with 2 at-bats, 2 homers, a 3-run shot, and the Reds lead it 6-4. There's a fly ball that'll end the inning, but not without some moments. Alex Dinkle, you gave the Reds some good luck in this inning, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations
Thank you.
to you,
I
man.
will definitely be seeing you when I get back. You guys.
One more look at the first pitch. A little bit of change of distance, and Joey might have hit it. 436 feet worth of homer. There's a shot down to first. Votto flags it down, and Bailey is there. Victor Martinez bounces out on the 3-1 put out. Our Reds text poll for tonight is Homer Bailey up to stay with the Reds. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Text your choice to 37664. Normal text rates do apply. Is Homer Bailey here to stay? Well, if he keeps getting run support like this, Chris, he's got a good chance to stay.
I'll tell you what, George, you know, he gave up that 4 spot in the top of the inning, and his Reds teammates picked him right up with a 5 spot. And despite giving up 4 already in just 2 innings, he's got a 2-run lead. And now it's up to Homer to kind of buckle down now that he's been through the lineup. He's obviously, after 52 pitches, nice and loose. And hopefully he'll be able to get his sea legs under him and start throwing the ball where he wants to.
Homer gave up a walk, picked off a runner in the first, but then in the second, a walk, a homer, a single, a walk, and another single, and the Indians scored 4. There's a fly ball left center. Over is Taveras. Gomes gives way to him, and there's 2 away. So Homer gets the first 2 outs of the third, and you know, every inning's important, but with the meat of the order coming up after your offenses put a 5 spot up and give you a 6-4 lead, it's important to get through quick here, huh?
Well, at least set the stage to get the opposing pitcher back out there, get the Indians back on defense. You don't want to go out there and walk anybody in this inning.
There's Mark DeRosa, who homered in the second, a 2-run shot that gave the Indians a 2-1 lead. How about Alex? He's something else or what, Chris?
I'll tell you what, he is just, we've seen him grow up, obviously, George, over the years, and the setbacks that he's gone through and what he's had to, obstacles to climb over. He is so well spoken, and he's just so together for a youngster just graduating from high school. I mean, you think that he's 30 years old with just his stage presence and the way he expresses himself.
He's my hero.
Yeah.
Man. Been such a long road for him, and he's taken every step of it like a real man. There's a ground ball. 1-2-3. That's a great inning for Homer. Reds go back to work to the bottom of 3. Gomes will lead it. Gives the Reds a 1-0 lead after the Reds fell behind. Joey comes up a 3-run shot in the second. 436 feet worth of boom, Chris.
You know, George,
with a curtain call.
Well, I said during his first at bat that he may not have his timing down. Scratch that. He evidently has been doing a lot more work than what we ever thought. That's amazing what he has done here.
Good to have him back in the lineup, to say the least. Here's Johnny Gomes, who popped up first time up.
It's a different team with him in there.
Two homers, number 6 and 7 on the season. And 4 runs batted in on the night for Joey. Third time he's had a multi-homer game in his career. Gomes, Bruce, Hernandez due up here in the bottom of 3. Great to have you with us. George Grant, Chris Welch up here in the booth. Jesse Jackson, Mark Wagner. There's a bouncer wide. Huff. They get him. I don't know whether DeRosa ever had his foot on the bag, but they'll call him out at first. Hey, don't forget, make sure to get your Joey Votto Matt Photo on Sunday, June the 7th. First 30,000 fans in attendance will receive a Joey Votto Matt Photo courtesy of Chiquita. 500 lucky fans will also receive a signed version. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. Dusty will come up and argue with the first base umpire, Mark Wagner, but to no avail. Let's see, does DeRosa keep his foot on the bag?
Pretty close. That was a nice pick down there by DeRosa. We saw him make a dandy of a defensive play at third base last night. They scoot him over to first base tonight, and he's out there picking it again.
From that angle, looked like he did. One away. Here's Bruce, who walked in the second and scored on the homer by Ramon Hernandez. Rifled into the right field corner, foul and out of play. Ball and a strike. This game 2 of the series. Tomorrow it'll be Johnny Cueto who will go for his 5th win against last year's Cy Young Award winner in the American League, Cliff Lee. Lee got off to a horrible start. Didn't pitch well, had bad run support, but he's been back to Cy Young caliber pitching of late. He comes in 2-5 and an ERA of 2.9, and there's Johnny C. Edinson Volquez right next to him. Volquez saying right now he feels like he should be able to take his next scheduled start and come off the disabled list. The back feels a lot better, but it'll be a wait and see situation until he actually gets back and starts throwing, huh?
Well, the minimum he can be on the disabled list is 15 days.
Right.
So when would be his next scheduled start?
Which would be the one after this one.
Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, that's his optimism, not the optimism or the medical evaluation of the Red staff. That's a check swing, and it'll be punched out for a strikeout.
Well, the thing about being on the disabled list, and we'll take another look at Jay Bruce swinging and missing. What they're doing with Jay Bruce, throwing him a lot of breaking balls. Now, slow stuff down in the dirt, and right now he's having a hard time laying off of it. But until Volquez gets out and throws a couple of bullpens, maybe even throws a simulated game, that's the beauty of being on the DL. There's no hurry now. You'd love to have him come back in exactly that rotation spot, George, where he'd only miss one start. But they're going to build him up to make sure that he's okay. He's a very valuable pitcher to this organization. They're not going to rush him back.
Well, even though he went on the disabled list yesterday, he's already been out a week. So, I mean, he's halfway through that 15-day period. Here's Ramon, who homered last time up, his 2nd home run. A bomb of his own, 441 feet, second deck and left. After the Indians leave town, Houston comes to town. Aaron Harang against Wandy Rodriguez, another lefty, on Monday. Tuesday, Mike Owens against Roy Oswalt. And Wednesday, it'll be a night game, too. Reds live. The day game is on Monday. Reds live at 12:30. Reds live Tuesday at 6:30 and Wednesday at 6:30 as well. 2 balls, 1 strike. By the way, those of you that were with us last night and saw Anthony Reyes exit the game after 3 difficult innings where Reyes allowed only 1 hit and a run, but walked 6 and left with elbow stiffness. He was placed on the disabled list today on the 15-day DL, and so was Aaron Laffey, the reliever who came in and pulled a muscle in his side. We talked to Reyes today. He said, I couldn't feel my fingers at all in that 2nd and 3rd inning. There's a bouncer through on the right side, and they are still with the club, and when they get back to Cleveland after this weekend, they'll have an MRI, and he just hoped for the best for Anthony Reyes. But Chris, we remarked when we saw him in the first inning, he didn't look right.
You know, it's been a long time, George, since I saw a pitcher get grass stain on a ball with a pitch and hit the grass. I mean, it's one thing bouncing it in front of the plate and getting in the dirt. He was so wild last night, it had to be an injury. And you see Laffey, he's the guy that I think they're really going to miss. He was a starter, pressed into relief because they didn't have any left-handers in the bullpen, and they are really up a creek without him in the bullpen.
Indians now have 6 players on the disabled list, 5 of them pitchers. Travis Hafner, the only non-pitcher. There's Anthony, keeping his fingers crossed, hoping for the best. But remember, they shut him down last year, the final month of the season, with elbow stiffness, and they really were very cautious with him all spring. We'll know more once they take the MRI when they get back to Cleveland.
You know, George, if they were really smart about it, you know what they would do? They would have sent him on up the Beacon. Dr. Kremchek would have had an MRI done. He could have had Tommy John surgery tonight, and by the time the ball club leaves town tomorrow evening, he'd be all ready to go and already on the mend.
I'm not positive, but I think when I walked through today, I think Dr. Kremchek had a booth at Taste of Cincinnati where he was doing elbows. I think he was doing elbows there today.
Really? Maybe you can direct me over there. Mine's a little stiff.
He's done yours 3 times already.
Oh, I'm still hooking the driver. Maybe tighten it a little bit too much.
Here's Alex. He singled his first time up. 2 away, runner on. By the way,
really, I mean, other than Dr. James Andrews in the United States, there are some other doctors that do Tommy John surgeries and shoulder surgeries and so on. But you know, Dr. Kremchek has done so many from every different ball club. He sees people from all over the world come over here. I mean, the Bengals had a chance to use him and didn't do it. I don't know. I don't understand what's wrong with some of these clubs.
And there is a good possibility, not probability, that before it's all over, he may end up back here after the MRI is taken. Remember, Lonnie Soloff was now the head trainer.
Sure.
Was an assistant trainer, head trainer in Cleveland, was the assistant trainer with the Reds, and nobody has more respect for Dr. Kremchek than Lonnie. So we'll see how it unfolds. We wish Anthony the best and hope he's back healthy and pitching again soon. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez retired. The Reds get a base hit, strand a runner in the 3rd. Into the 4th. Teams. The 3 players on the current Indians and Reds rosters that have played for both teams. I'm not sure I even understand the question.
Whose roster do they have to be on right now?
You mean they have to be on either roster, the 25-man roster or the 40-man roster? They're in the ballpark, meaning coaches too. That includes coaches? Just players. Here's Matt Laporta, who will lead it off as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Laporta, Valbuena, and Carroll due up. Bouncer down to third, but foul. Cardinals won again today, 5-0 over Kansas City behind Kyle Loesch. Last 5 games they've given up only 2 earned runs. Amazing. Cardinals are back on a roll again, and it's pitching, not hitting, that's gotten them there. Astros lost to the Texas Rangers today 6-3. Baltimore leads Washington 1-0 in the 5th. Atlanta leads Toronto 3-2 in the 5th, and Tampa Bay and Florida are tied 1-1 in the 5th inning. Here Homer Bailey has allowed 4 runs on 3 hits. Bailey gave up a home run to Mark DeRosa, 2-run shot. There's a bouncer off the arm of the third baseman Hairston, and on will be Porta.
Homer Bailey has settled down after giving up a 4 spot in the 2nd inning. He went 1-2-3 on a couple of ground balls. This time he gets a ground ball, short hop, and a tough play by Hairston. That's one of those do or dies. He either tries to charge and get that big hop, or should back up and get another try of a big hop, and just got him in between hops right there, and he'll get charged with an error.
Error on the third baseman Hairston. So 1 on, nobody out. Here's Valbuena, who flied to right first time up. So Homer will be back working from the stretch here in the 4th. You talk about the maturation process of a young pitcher, especially a big, tall, lanky young pitcher. And Chris, the first time Homer came up, there was a distinct difference between his delivery out of a full windup and when he worked out of the stretch. And if there's anything that Teddy Powers worked so hard with him over the last couple of years, it's here, working out of the stretch.
Yeah, you know, George, and you don't get it polished, or you don't get it oiled up until you have many innings of doing it. I mean, you have to repeat it over and over again, work on it in between starts, but take what you work on and you take it right into your start with you. And it does take the perseverance of a pitcher, but it also takes the watchful eye of a lot of different pitching coaches. And Teddy Powers had a lot to do with his progress, no doubt about it.
Reds have been pretty blessed over the years, and they are extremely fortunate right now to have Rick Sweet as their manager down at AAA, Smokey Garrett as their hitting instructor, and Teddy Power as their pitching coach. 3 guys that are major league caliber in every facet of the game. They're in the 7th spot in the order with Valbuena. And in the bullpen, Greg Aquino has started to loosen. Full count, 3-2. There goes the runner. Here comes the throw. It is. They call strike 3, and the runner safe at second.
Well, the Indians are going to try to run every time they get a chance, and on a 3-2 count, even with nobody out, they're going to take a shot right there with Matt Laporta. And a good throw by the catcher Hernandez, but you know what? When you've got a 2-run lead and you've struggled, you cannot walk a batter right there. And Homer Bailey gave all of his concentration right into the hitter and made a good pitch to get a strikeout.
And the other part of that, Chris, as a catcher, you got to stay with the pitch because you want that call third strike. If he pops out of his crouch, chances are the umpire doesn't see it, and it's ball 4. It's called ball 4. So the runner at second, one away, and here's Carroll, who walked first time up. Slapped the other way and out of play. Ball and 2 strikes as Homer deals to the third baseman for the Indians. Bounce it down to short. With 1 away, they'll take the out at first. And there's 2 away. And the best sports show period, the greatest nightly sports show on television, with host Chris Rose and Carissa Thompson. Best sports show period, weeknights, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. That's 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. If you want sports and entertainment, they've got it for you on the best sports show period. Where's Dave DeLucci? Will come out and pinch hit. DeLucci is the lone left-handed pinch hitter on the bench for Eric Wedge, and he will pinch hit for the pitcher. Solid bench player, DeLucci. So Huff will exit after allowing 6 runs on 7 hits in his 3 innings of work. We've talked about the difficulties that the Indians have had. Carl Willis and Eric Wedge. They went 3 innings last night with the starter Anthony Reyes, just trying to get everything they could out of him. And with Huff tonight, they go 3 innings as well, and they'll have to dip into the bullpen again. And in their moves today, with Reyes and Laffey going on the disabled list, the former Reds #1 draft pick Jeremy Sowers, recall from Columbus. And Rich Runless is also a recall. Backing out of play.
Now you see behind the plate right there, Ramon Hernandez kind of getting up on his haunches and trying to convince Homer Bailey to throw that high fastball. That's one thing that Homer did a lot when he first came up a couple of years ago, and kind of got away from last year when the Reds tried to make him more of a sinker ball pitcher, sinker slider pitcher. But he's beginning to do that a little bit more in AAA, throwing that high fastball. He's got enough stuff to be able to throw it up there, and if you get it high enough, very tough to get on top of. DeLucci right now just barely able to make contact. That was an off-speed pitch. First a fastball, then a breaking ball, and he just barely underneath that one. That is not where you want to hang the breaking ball, but sometimes, you hang it so high that a hitter doesn't get to it. You bring that down about 4 inches, and it's prime hitting spot.
There's a bloop to the left side. It'll be in the stands and out of play. Count stays 0-2. So the numbers on Huff: 3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. He struck out 3, walked 1, and 63 pitches of effort tonight here at Great American Ballpark. Bailey wins the battle. He gets DeLucci, the pinch hitter, strands a runner. Reds still lead at 6-4. We're heading to the bottom. Who are the three players on the current Indians and Reds rosters that have played for both teams? Well, for the Reds, it's Phillips, Weathers, and Rhodes. We know that. Are we saying there's more, 3 on each team, or is that it? That's it. Okay. Brandon Phillips, who came from Montreal to the Indians, and then the Reds got him. Arthur Rhodes and David Weathers each have spent a year in Cleveland in their bullpens. And then again, Arthur and David have spent at least a year in almost everybody's bullpen, huh?
Well, you're just about right about that.
Here's Homer to lead it off in the 4th. Here's Bailey, struck out first time up. 1 strike to Homer. Broken bat, right back to the pitcher. Aquino, the new pitcher, takes over here in the 4th and gets the first out. You like Homer's new haircut? A little shorter than the last time you saw him.
Yeah, it sure is. Looks like you took him over to Fausto, George. Got his money's worth.
You always do with Fausto. Fausto and Emilio take care of you.
We do lay a 20 on the counter. Say, give me 20 bucks worth.
The best. Keno pitched last night, back again today. And he'll face Willie Taveras at the top of the order, who's 0 for 2. The Indians bullpen has been a work in progress all year long. They're 13th in starting pitching and 13th in relief pitching in the American League. Coming into play today only, in fact, after today, they will be the #1 team in baseball using the most number of players. They trail the Washington Nationals as of yesterday, but with the 2 moves they had to make today, 2 more pitching moves, they've used more players than anyone else. 39 players going into tonight's ball game. That's been the way it's rolled the dice for Eric Wedge.
You know, those numbers are probably inversely proportional, George, in as much as you could probably look at the number of players that a team has used, and the more the players they've used, the lower they are in the standings. That's almost guaranteed. Because when you have to start filling in for your everyday major league players with guys you're calling up and guys that are not everyday players, they're extra players, utility players, it'll show in the win-losses, there's no doubt. And the Indians have had a tough time there.
And their bullpen has been like a revolving door, and their starting situation hasn't been much different. And on the other end of it, the Reds today used only the 6th different pitcher to start a game. This is in the club's 42nd game. That's the longest streak that the Reds have had since 1994. So for Eric Wedge, it's been change those names almost every night. For the Reds and Dick Pohl, it's been a lot more solid first 7 weeks of the season. That's foul and out of play down the right field line. Chris, you go into a year, you figure you're going to need probably 7 or 8 starters at least for most teams. And for the Reds to only have used 5 to this point, pretty impressive. 5 starting pitchers this year. The Reds were on that list until today. But Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay, the only teams that have used only 5. Broken bat, pop to the right side. Valbuena there, 2 away. So Taveras is 0 for 3, and here comes Jerry Hairston Jr. Popped out and reached on an infield hit, 1 for 2. Bunted his way on in the 2nd inning. That preceded the 3-run home run by Joey Votto. If you're just joining us, Joey's been the star. He's back in the lineup. 2 at-bats, 2 home runs. 1 a solo shot, 1 a 3-run shot of 436 feet. 3/4 of the way up the moon deck and right. Boy, is it good to get number 19 back or what? another broken bat. This one will be caught by the second baseman, and the Reds will go quietly in the fourth. 1-2-3. Heading to the fifth, top of the order, Cabrera due up. On Creation Museum Faith Day, presented by Prasco. Stick around after the game for a special post-game concert by Grammy Award-winning artist Stephen Curtis Chapman. Get your tickets now at 381 Reds or visit Reds.com. Here's Homer going into the fifth. He's allowed 4 runs on 3 hits. All 4 runs came in the second inning. A walk, a homer by DeRosa gave the Indians a 2-1 lead. A single, a walk, and another single plated 2 more, and it was 4-1 Cleveland. Then Joey Votto went to work. The Reds lead at 6-4. Cabrera's been on twice. Walk, out trying to steal, and then singled in 2 runs in the second. Fine young player. Played second last night. Of late, in the American League, where they have the designated hitter, and Martinez will DH some of the time. Peralta would DH some of the time and play third. He's usually the shortstop, and he's back at short today. How'd the games make out today, Chris?
Well, George, I saw 3 of them today.
Only 3.
This is the 4th.
The 3 important ones, most important.
Well, this is the most important one, of course, because it counts in the standings. The other ones, well, they're the tournament games, so you always live for tomorrow. 2-1 right now. The daughter won her softball game.
Big.
And Mac's team has split, so they'll be back possibly 3 tomorrow. Nothing like amateur baseball, you know, when you get in one of those tournaments and you get in losers bracket.
So Debbie will be sitting at the field tomorrow.
Everybody pitches. And moms bring a lot of water and snacks and all sorts of stuff to make sure you get through the whole day.
Four walks for Bailey. Leadoff hitter on in the 5th inning. Our Honda Central standings. The Reds start today 3.5 back. 3 games over 500. Cardinals started the day a game back with their victory. They're now 26-17, a half game back of the Brewers. Your Honda standings update.
Well, you just saw a shot at Dusty Baker. He can't be too happy really with the fact that in 4 innings now, Homer Bailey has walked 4 batters. In fact, of the 4 runs that have scored, 2 of them have gotten on base via the base on balls. You just dig your own grave when you walk guys in the lineup that really shouldn't hurt you all that much, especially down the number 8 hitter and then leadoff hitter, because back up that leadoff hitter, you have Sizemore, Martinez, Chu, DeRosa, all of whom can go deep. Laporta the same thing. I mean, this is a tough lineup.
4 of the 5 innings, the leadoff batter has reached base. So he's been working out of the stretch a lot in this, the 84th pitch of the night.
And 3 times by bases on balls. It's one thing to have a guy reach on an error or even a base hit. But, I mean, he's got good enough stuff, Homer Bailey does, that he really ought to have a little more confidence in it and go right after these hitters a little bit more. Could be some nerves, you know. This is his first major league start of the season. And no matter how you prepare for it down in AAA, it's not the same in Louisville as it is here at Great American Ballpark. So the emotions are definitely a part of it. But he's on the verge of walking another now that he goes 3-0, and I'm not so sure how long his leash is.
They're starting to rustle around in the Reds bullpen right now. And there's back-to-back walks. So that puts the tying runs on here in the 5th, and it'll bring up the leading hitter in the American League, Victor Martinez, and it'll bring Dick Pole out of the dugout.
I don't think this is going to be a very nice meeting. In fact, if we had Dick Pole mic'd right now, we'd probably have to turn it off.
That's the march of authority. And Jared Burton, while the discussion goes on the mound, is starting to loosen in the bullpen for Cincinnati. The Indians scored 4 in that 2nd inning, which included 2 walks, 2 singles, and a home run. JB loosening for Cincinnati, just starting to loosen now with the long toss. There's Victor, struck out and nailed it first on a nice play by Joey Votto. 2 on, nobody out. Middle of the infield double play depth. This hit down the left field line. Gomes long run in the corner, will haul it in. The runners retreat to their bases. You really have to play Victor straight away. He'll spray the ball everywhere and with power. Gomes had a long way to go, but he chased this down for the first out.
Now that's a huge out right there, because you're looking at the leader of batting average in all the American League, 2nd in on-base percentage in all of baseball. And if you get Martinez out, he's looking at an 0 for right now, 0 for 3. And that's a nice bit of work by Homer Bailey in the middle of this order.
And the good news for the Reds, 0 for 7 the 2 nights. They've kept Martinez out of the mix so far. Here's Chu. He walked first time up, flied out second time up. Corner for a strike. DeRosa, who homered back in the 2nd, is on deck. No shake off this time. Here's the 2-1.
We're trying to put the Indians ahead with that swing. Had a high slider up and out of the strike zone that Bailey got away with one. I mean, he nearly comes out of his shoes right there. That's the old spinner. You saw that pitch as it went in there, and that had that little dot on the ball. If you see a dot in the center of the ball as a hitter, that's a slider coming at you. And normally anticipates some break, but that ball looked like it just stayed straight.
And you saw where Hernandez hit up, down and into the lefty. And that was up and away.
Now you're just working on the side of it when that happens.
2-2. Hop down the left field line. Giving chase again is Gomes, and it will drop harmlessly. And 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cabrera walk. Sizemore walk. They're still at first and second. Reds got 3 big double play ground balls. Started by deliveries from Bronson Arroyo last night that helped them hold on to a 3-1 victory. They love one right here. Doesn't go around. So we're full 3-2. And a 2-run ball game with 1 out. What does Eric Wedge do with a left-hand batter up?
Well, he's run the runners every time he's had an opportunity, even in a situation like this with less than 2 outs.
See if he rolls the dice again.
Not a bad idea by Homer right there. That move will only work when the runner's off and steal third base. I got to figure with the speed that they have, Cabrera and Sizemore, both of them can scoot pretty well. I imagine that they're going to be running. And they're not.
Not going, and there's ball 4.
They don't have to.
3 walks in the inning. Dusty Baker, as soon as that ball called a ball, was up off his chair, and he's on his way out to the mound. So 3 walks here in the 5th. 6 walks for Bailey on the night, and he's going to exit this one. Burton is ready. Out comes Dusty. At the major league level, a career high 6 walks for Homer Bailey. Here comes Burton. That'll be it for Homer. While the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox. Reds lead in 6-4, but Chris, he won't be around for the decision. He goes 4 1/3 innings. He walked 6, a career high walk total for him. Here are his numbers.
Yeah, just about a couple of years ago is when he made his major league debut against this same Cleveland Indian team. That night he did get the win, 5 innings of 2-run baseball. The Reds ended up winning that ball game 4-3. Not so tonight. Even though he was supported with 6 runs and 7 hits, he's not able to get through the 5th inning. He's got to be very disappointed. And it'll be one of those sleepless nights, I imagine, for Homer Bailey. Every pitcher that's been out there will know what that's all about. But he'll give away with the bases loaded to Jared Burton. Well, you never want to leave the bases loaded for a reliever to come in, ever. And hopefully Jared Burton will get a nice ground ball, maybe right back to him, and he'll get out of the inning with no damage.
There's Jared. Last time out, he pitched an inning and gave up 3 earned runs. Prior to that, he had been lights out. Hadn't allowed a run in 5 appearances over 6 innings, and the Reds really need him to be a key in this bullpen. He gets behind on ball 1, a wave at the slider for a strike, and here's DeRosa, who homered in the 2nd to give the Indians a 2-1 lead and bounced to short in the 3rd. The numbers for DeRosa, and not odd, Chris. DeRosa's had good numbers against a lot of the Reds pitchers. He's 3 for 3 against Burton. And among those 3 hits, 1 home run. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mark DeRosa was a key to the resurgence of the Cubs offense last year, playing 1st, 2nd, 3rd in the outfield, and the Indians had hoped that he'd be a key to their offense this year too. While he struggled at times, he's starting to get his swing back. The homer was his 7th of the year, now with 27 runs batted in. That's a rocket shot into left. He's got a 2-hit game. 1 run will score. They're sending the runner. They got a shot at him. The tag will be not in time. Well, that's just a good slide and a good effort by Sizemore, who knew where to slide when he saw where the ball went, Chris. A normal runner probably would have been nailed by Hernandez, but Sizemore sneaks in on the corner.
Well, Johnny Gomes is not known for his defense, although he comes in and makes a nice play on this. A solid throw, gives the catcher a chance, but it's a little bit wide right there. And you see how far away from the plate that Ramon Hernandez is. He backs up quite a ways to get that. And really didn't want to get in the way of anybody kind of sliding in there. He could have probably caught that ball a little closer to the 3rd base line. But nonetheless, that base hit by Mark DeRosa, the same old pain in the neck, drives a couple of runs in and ties this baby up.
DeRosa, who's a career .370 hitter against the Reds, does it again. 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. 4 runs batted in, and it's a new ball game. We're tied at 6. 1st and 2nd are the runners. And here's Laporta, who hit a solid single to right and hit a rocket shot down to 3rd that Hairston was charged with an error on. Those 2 runs charged to Homer. So right now it's 4 1/3, 3 hits, 6 runs, and the runner at 2nd is still his responsibility. One ball, 2 strikes. You see it in college, but until you see it in the pros, you really can't judge it. And Chris, he has spoiled a couple of outstanding pitches with that little flick of the bat. That's a sign of a good hitter.
Well, that's why he had a base hit the first time up on a 2-2 slider. One of the better pitches that Homer Bailey threw on the night, who took it right to right field. Down
to 3rd. Hairston 5-4. Yes, sir, 3. The Reds turn the double play, but one batter too late. DeRosa's single ties it at 6. The Reds' 36th twin killing of the season to the bottom of AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. The round of applause is for the highlight reel that you just saw. Joey Votto comes to the plate. He's been up twice. His homer in the first gave the Reds a 1-0 lead, his 6th of the year. His 3-run home run in the second, 436-foot shot to right, his 7th of the year, gave the Reds a 6-4 lead. 2 at bats, 2 bombs. Votto to left. It's curve and foul. It'll be out of play. Everything he hits, Chris, is a rocket shot.
I'll tell you, everything is just jumping off the bat. He's a tremendously strong guy, obviously, but even though he's been sidelined and really not been able to do the normal work that he does. I mean, he hits the weights on a daily basis, gets here hours before the game and works out hard.
Fastball in on the hands, fouled off 0-2. He was an hour in the cage today before most of his teammates were even here. That's Joey Votto's normal way of operating. No balls, 2 strikes to the Reds' first baseman. Brandon Phillips on deck. And if you're wondering, Joey already has 2 games, rather 1 game with 3 home runs in a game. If he were to get another homer tonight, he'd join a rarefied list. Not many Reds have done that. Johnny Bench has done it 3 times. Gus Bell twice, Eric Davis twice, and Aaron Boone twice. Joey had 3 against the Cubs last year. There's a hard hopper down to first. DeRosa will corral it, and there's 1 away. That'll bring up Brandon, who's 1 for 2, single to first and fly to right. Earlier today, Brandon Phillips Field, located at the Clark Montessori School on Winton Ridge Road in Cincinnati, was dedicated. What a beautiful complex. Gold Glove second baseman was there. He's throwing out the first pitch here. He contributed over $32,000 to the field, and it was a special day, Chris. His mom and dad were there. His sister Portia was there. Representatives from the community fund were there. Just a wonderful day and a great facility. He stayed, watched the game, signed every autograph imaginable. Special day for the Reds, for Clark Montessori School, for all the players who were part of it, and a special day for that guy too.
George, it was great that you're able to go out there, witness it firsthand. He's a great guy. I mean, he really wants to become involved in the community, and he has. And not just by writing a check to help the school. I mean, he spent a lot of time and hours. He loves his time with kids. Mom and Dad are here tonight. His sister are here tonight to watch him.
I don't know. I asked his dad who's the better athlete. He said probably Portia, his sister, a great, outstanding collegiate basketball player. Congratulations to everyone who was a part of it today. Mary Ronan, the superintendent of the Cincinnati Public Schools, was there. Bill Castellini represented the Reds. Charlie Frank, of course, from the Reds, was there. Great bunch of young people that were part of a very special day. What kind of a day was it for Brandon? Well, he had some tears in his eyes, as did his dad. There's a dribbler to the left side. Mom Lou was there. His dad James and Portia were there. And this is the way Brandon talked about it at the field today.
I mean, it's nice. It's like a dream come true. You know, I always wanted a field named after me, and going out there and seeing the guys, all the hard work that they put up, it's a beautiful field, man. I mean, you know, I think a lot of people should go out there and just check it out and check out the kids playing on there, man. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty nice. And, you know, so I watched a couple of innings a day. I mean, the guys was playing, you know, they was out there having fun, man. I mean, it reminds me of myself out there when I was younger. And, you know, I'm here to stay, man. This is where I want to be at. That's why I did it. And, you know what I'm saying, I mean, it's nice to have much more kids, like a lot of kids that just play baseball.
Thanks to Timmy Oakes, who's the head coach of the Cougars, who's there with all his players. Just a special day for a very special young man. Here's the 3-2. There's a rocket shot into right, coming in Sizemore. They'll knock it down on one hop, and Brandon will be on for the second time, 2 for 3.
Now that's a great at bat by Brandon Phillips, because he got down in the at bat early. He thought he had a call, missed inside, and he comes back and finally gets a slider that Greg Aquino has fallen in love with in this at bat. He threw him about 4 sliders before he got one up above the waist, and Brandon Phillips' little inside out line drive nearly picked off by Sizemore, but he's reached base now with 1 out, and the Reds have that go-ahead run on.
He had 2 triples this week. If that gets by Sizemore, he might have had his 3rd triple of the week.
He may have had his first inside the park.
You're right.
Nobody else out there to help Sizemore.
Here's Gomes, 1 out, 1 on, and we'll see what Brandon does. Might he be off and running here? It looked like he was inching to get a break. Brandon has stolen 4. He's been caught 3 times this year. Martinez has only thrown out 14% of those who have tried to steal. Aquino has had 1 base stolen on him. He has not had a runner thrown out when he's been on the mound, and they're having trouble getting together. Get that look, doesn't he? Not going. off for strike one. Gomes tonight popped out to the first baseman and bounced back to the pitcher 0 for 2. Johnny had the big hit last night, a leadoff double in the 8th that led to the go-ahead run after Adam Rosales, 1 out later, followed with a double. Eyes peeking at the pitcher and the catcher too.
You know, the threat of a stolen base can really help Johnny Gomes right here, because the more you think that a runner is going to steal, the less likely you want to really throw a breaking ball. You want to throw a fastball to give your catcher a chance to throw that runner out. And Gomes is a much better fastball hitter than he is a breaking ball hitter. So he ought to be up there looking for the old #1, and Brandon Phillips can continue to try to convince Aquino that he might be off the running.
Not going. And that's a strike. Dusty Baker rolls through his signs. Luis Vizcaíno up and tossing in the bullpen now for the Indians. That's going to find a hole on the right side and go through. Phillips turns and will hold at second. And it's a good thing he did. Chu's throw was right on the money at third.
A nice bit of hitting by both the Reds in this inning. Brandon Phillips went to dead center field for a base hit, and Johnny Gomes down 1 ball and 2 strikes in the count. Gets a tough pitch away from him, and he drives it right into right field. Really good bit of hitting right there. A fastball on the outer part of the plate. If he pulls that ball, it's a ground ball double play somewhere. And with the second baseman Valbuena shading, that gave the whole right side of the infield wide open for Gomes, and he took advantage of it.
Well, out comes Carl Willis, the pitching coach. Willis, former Reds pitcher back in the mid-'80s, 84 and 85. 7th year he's been with Eric Wedge.
Brandon Phillips having a little fun with Shin-Soo Choo out there, pointing out to him, saying, nope, I'm not going on your arm. I was just faking it for you out there. You know, one thing Brandon Phillips says all the time is, I'm just having fun. I just want to play and have fun. And sometimes people misunderstand that. Sometimes people say, well, if the team's not winning, why are you having fun? But that's the way he was brought up. And if you talk to any major leaguer, that's what you want to do. You play better when you're having fun, when you're playing loose, and he's playing as well as anybody in the league right now.
He represents the go-ahead run in a 6-6 game. He's out at second. 1 out, 2 on. Jay Bruce to the plate. Bruce walked and struck out. For Cincinnati, as we get down to the 6th spot in the batting order, newly recalled Carlos Fisher is up and loosening for the first time. Carlos just called back up from AAA. When he does appear, he'll make his major league debut. Big, tall, lanky right-hander. That's a dribbler to the right side. They'll get 1 out at first, and the 2 runners will advance. Valbuena had no chance to get the runner going into second, so a productive out for Bruce, as both runners will advance to second and third. It'll be up to Ramon to try to cash him in. Hernandez tonight, a homer. That was in the second, a 2-run shot following the Bruce walk, and he singled in the third. Phillips single to center. Gomes single to right. They're on for the Reds with first base open. They will walk Ramon. And Gonzalez is due up next.
The way that Ramon Hernandez has absolutely killed the Indians even tonight. This is a no-brainer right here. Ramon hit a base hit to right field his last time up. The first time up, he hit the ball 440 plus feet into the second deck, way out there in the left field bleachers.
So the bases are going to be loaded for Alex Gonzalez, who's 2 for 3 against Aquino in their matchups. Alex had a big night last night, both with the bat and the glove. Tonight he singled to center first time up and then struck out in the third. Both of those at bats against the lefty David Huff. Phillips, Gomes, Hernandez lead off their bases. 2 outs here in the 5th in a 6-6 ball game. Slider drops in there for strike 1.
Yeah, that's a pitch that Aquino loves to throw to those right-handers.
Broken bat right back to the pitcher. The Reds will strand 3 in the 5th. 2 singles and a walk. Aquino dodges a bullet. We're still tied at 6 as we
You need to be out amongst the people again, back amongst the people, just to show you how much command Chris Welsh has on this broadcast. I'm in the booth.
You know, you've disappointed probably 40,000 people. I'll tell you what we're hoping for tonight, because George was there at the dedication of the field that Brandon Phillips had dedicated in his name today. You know, his mom and dad are here, his sister are here. We're hoping to get a side-by-side with you and the Phillips family, and you're a little bit coming up short tonight, JD.
You knew there was ice cream in the booth. That's why you came up here, huh?
If you want me to go down and talk to the Phillips family, I'll do it.
Oh, I thought that was part of our game plan. You know, we have our production meeting at the beginning of every broadcast.
That 3-hour meeting.
Yeah.
Well, that was your request, and again, to show you how much command you have, I'm here.
We'll enjoy it, because Jesse, after he leaves, lock the door.
Jesse,
we love you, JD. You know that.
Jesse, lock the ice cream cabinet too, will you?
Yeah. What are you looking at? My midsection here? Is that what you're looking at here? Hey, I'm getting some messages tonight on, I know, both of your favorites, Twitter out there. There are some people on this Memorial Day weekend
Phillips knocks it down and makes the play.
There are some people on this Memorial Day weekend who are doing stuff with the family. They're not in range of a TV or radio right now, so I'm updating them on what's transpiring in the game. So they went from being really down to now being up, and now we're even here. So follow along with this, twitter.com. It's a free service. Some people have a misconception out there. You don't need a credit card or anything like that. It's a free service. You can follow along. Twitter.com/JimDayTV or Fox Sports OH.
We have a media mogul here with us in our presence tonight, twittering all over the world.
Yes, I am. It's my Twitter peeps.
As long as you keep me out of it, I'm happy.
I'm doing it for the squad. I'm doing it for the team.
Well, you know, you kind of looking at me, George. You're looking at me. My phone doesn't do that. I mean, I have a hard time texting on my phone.
That's not true.
If FSN Ohio would love to be able to provide me with an iPhone or a BlackBerry or something, I would be happy to Twitter from time to time.
I pay for my own iPhone.
But I'm technologically handicapped because I've got old equipment.
You shamelessly beg, don't you?
Actually, I hope I don't get one. I like it just the way it is.
Bruce can't get it. It drops in front of him. Taking a wide turn is Jamie Carroll at first.
I'm not sure what happened on that play, George, except the fact that maybe he thought that he was coming along with a collision with Tavares. Maybe he lost it in the lights. He took a really weird route to that ball. He went back on it and then it came in. That's definitely a catchable ball. We don't see Jay Bruce do that very often. He must have lost it in the lights.
That's all. It looked like he shied away at the last moment. Never did hit his glove. It'll be scored a base hit. So 1 out, 1 on. The throw down to first goes down the right field line. Bruce's throw to second will not be in time. It'll be an error on the catcher, Hernandez, as Phillips got over there and the ball went to the foul side of the bag and Brandon couldn't get a glove on it.
Well, it's a pre-designed play, and you see Brandon Phillips coming around hard from the second base position, and he's supposed to stand right in the baseline and get in the way of the runner right there and keep the guy from getting back, and that throw just went wide and down the right field line. It's a play that has worked for the Reds several times already this year. Here are a couple of the times it has worked. You see him sneaking behind the runner there. That was
against
Cody Ross down in Florida.
And then on the Thursday game this past week against Philadelphia, they did it again. So twice it's worked. This time it doesn't. And you can see where Brandon had set up shop again. He had put his foot right in the way of the base runner, and he did it again this time. But the throw was wide to the foul side of the bag, and he couldn't get a glove on it. So now with 1 out, no chance for the double play. The potential go-ahead run is at second. And Ben Francisco is at the plate. Francisco, one of 4 right-handed bats on the bench. Johnny Peralta, Kelly Shopik, Ryan Garko, and Francisco. A call strike. Francisco doesn't believe what he's hearing. He turns around and looks at Rob Drake, has a couple of things to say, and that'll be the second out of the inning.
Now the fastball grip right there, and a little bit of a cutter, and that's one of those pitches that Francisco probably used to seeing that ball move in towards him. But a cut fastball thrown right there will either stay perfectly straight or move in towards the plate just a little bit, and that's what that last one did. That's one of his favorite pitches, Jared Burton's.
Out comes Dusty, and Danny Ray Herrera loosening in the bullpen. Dusty will come out and make a double switch. And we told you earlier that the only left-handed bat on the bench to start the game today was David DeLucci. He was used already. So Francisco was this year has hit 230 against right-handed pitching and over 300 against left-handed pitching. Has to hit against the right-hander. He's punched out. And there's your second out of the inning. Here comes Daniel Ray Herrera in while the double switch takes place. He'll take time out for these.
So Brandon Phillips. Mr. Phillips, I just told you I love watching your son play. You've got to be proud of him.
Yes, I am. I'm very proud of that boy. He's doing a good job this year.
And that field dedication this morning says a lot about his character.
Yes, it did. Matter of fact, I got choked up today because we didn't know that he was going to have a field on it in his name today. But when we got to the field and I saw his name on the banner on the center field, I feel very, very proud of my boy, and I'm telling you, I'm really proud of him.
Well, you should be. And Mom said that she didn't want to be interviewed tonight. Go on, Mom. You got to be proud of Brandon.
Yes, I am. I'm very, very proud of him. He's happy with himself and with his achievement, and we just blessed.
Well, I tell you what, we're blessed as Reds fans to watch him every day. He plays with intensity, smile on his face. He's obviously good in the community. Mom, you did a good job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Tedious situation here. George, let's go back to you.
All right, JD, you know where you got the smile from now, don't you?
Oh, there's no question where he got the smile from. It's a combination of both. But Mom, especially, beautiful smile.
And not there is Portia, his sister, who's a brilliant basketball player at the University of Georgia. But what a great family.
That's a great family. And Jim Day, I'm very proud of you.
Good job,
back
JD.
Step to the booth and get an ice cream now.
And none left. He took them all with him. And Danny Herrera takes the bull by the horns and gets the Reds out of the inning here in the sixth. Brandon's got a smile. The Chris, you can freeze this shot and take a look at it all night long. 2 home runs for Joey Votto, including that big-time shot, 436 feet to right.
Well, he's got at least 1, maybe 2 more at-bats coming up, George, and maybe he'll launch a 3rd one on the night. Boy, but that one that he hit the right field, very, very impressive, a mile high. And I still like the one he hit the left center field, though, because when you inside out a ball, let it go deep on you like that and hit it the way he did, it shows you how strong of a hitter that Joey Votto is. And they are happy to have him back in the lineup, locked up at 6. They could use him coming up once an inning.
He missed 10 starts via the flu and the dizzy spells that he had, but boy, he's back big time tonight. Our Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Luis Vizcaino will be the new pitcher. David Huff started 3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. Aquino gave up a couple of hits but no runs in his 2 innings of work. To the bottom of the 6 we go. The number 9 batter, it's Paul Janisch, who came in on the double switch, will face Vizcaino.
Well, he's 34-year-old right-hander, and he's been around quite a bit. In fact, he has been with a different ball club each year since 2004. Milwaukee, the White Sox, Arizona, the Yankees, the Rockies, the Cubs, and now the Indians. This just his 3rd game with the Indians.
Here's Janisch for his first at-bat of today. Dribble back to the mound. Vizcaino, the quick flip, and there's 1 away. So back to the top of the order. Here's Taveras. Willie flied out, bounced out, and popped out 0 for 3. Indians have made it clear from the get-go that they're trying to prevent this guy from reaching via the bunt. The 3rd baseman and the 1st baseman in every at-bat till 2 strikes have been a step or 2 onto the grass. Taveras with Jerry Hairston Jr. on deck. Foul. It's a ball and a strike.
Willie Taveras trying to slap the ball, maybe get something to the right side, maybe just flare it into right field. He's a guy that over the years has really been a ground ball hitter, but this year with the Reds he's hit more fly balls than he has in the past. A lot of pop-ups coming off his bat, hitting the underside of the baseball. And they're pitching him away with that breaking ball and really playing him away. Chu out in right field is really over there near the line, giving him a lot of the left center field gap if he can get the ball up. But look where the right fielder is. He's very close to the line right there. And they see Willie Taveras just trying to shoot the ball that way.
1 ball, 2 strikes. As a Reds fan, you watch Taveras every night. You see the speed, you see the potential to be the igniter. And at times it's frustrating when you don't see him on base as often, and it's frustrating for him too, and also for the hitting instructor Brick Jacoby. They've spent a lot of time in the video room, a lot of time talking philosophy, so it's not without work that this month has not been a work in progress.
There's only so much a coach can do, whether he's a pitching coach or a hitting coach or a fielding coach. I mean, you can practice. I mean, I've watched them for hours in the batting cage, hit off a tee, doing soft toss, trying to get the rhythm down so that he can drive the ball up the middle more with ground balls. But unless you take it into the game, there's not much more. Coach can't go out there in the batter's box with you.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Philadelphia Phillies were just in town. One of the best base running instructors in the game is Davey Lopes, the first base coach. And I asked Davey, what's your evaluation of Willie Taveras? He said he's a very good base stealer. Here's the 3-2. And there's ball 4. And he said, what I think he lacks is the killer instinct. That little bit extra. That's something down inside. And this is, he said, I'm saying this from afar because he's never coached Willie Taveras. He said, but one of the keys, and I asked him to evaluate the people he's had. Of course, he's got Jimmy Rollins over there now. He's got Victorino over there now. And he had Michael Bourne, who's now in Houston. He said, Bourne can be the best in the league if he is aggressive. And he said, I put Willie Taveras in the same spot. He's got to be more aggressive on the base pass. He can be better than he is.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just to get over the fear of being thrown out. For instance, this situation right now is the time you want to steal with 1 out.
There he goes. Big break, and they won't even have a throw. So the potential go-ahead run here in the 6th inning, sitting at second.
Well, that was almost a gimme right there by Vizcaino. He didn't even take a look at Taveras. He took a big, long, deliberate leg lift before he decided to go to the plate, and Taveras could have gone halfway to third. So he's got 12 of them now, and he's in scoring position.
12 with only 2 caught stealings. Great speed at second for the Reds. And here's Hairston now on a strike 1 count. Jerry tonight. Popped to third, reached on a bunt hit and line to second. A broken bat line drive to the second baseman. Second baseman Valbuena is only about 5 feet from the bag, trying to keep Taveras close. That opens up a giant hole on the right side. And that's where Harrison's trying to go, but he puts it in the air. Taveras will go halfway and retreat. So the Reds don't get the runner to third. There's your second out, and it'll be up to the hero of the day so far, Joey Votto. Votto homered in the first to give the Reds a 1-0 lead. His 3-run homer in the second gave the Reds a 6-4 lead. And he bounced out to DeRosa in the 5th.
And I don't even know if they're going to pitch to him right here, George. No, not with Vizcaino out there. Of course, they're short a left-hander in the bullpen. And the one guy, obviously, from what he has done tonight that can really hurt this Indians ball club is Votto. They're going to take his chance right away from him.
Eric Wedge was almost prophetic before the game today when he came out. He came out early to watch the Reds yesterday to see if Joey Votto took batting practice. He said, well, I saw him take batting practice, so I know he can pinch hit today. And he said, I expect him to be in the lineup tomorrow. And he was out again really to watch Votto take batting practice. He said, we dodged the bullet last night. I hope we can dodge the bullet tonight, meaning he knows Votto's the Reds' best hitter. So Votto's dialed deep twice, and he won't give him a chance to do it again.
That was the people in the outfield bleachers that were dodging the bullets.
So Joey will get an intentional walk. First and second for the Reds, and it'll be up to Brandon to try to get the run in. Brandon's 2 for 3.
Hey, Reds fans, for a great tasting meal and an unbeatable value, pick up delicious JTM Philly kits, burgers, or delicious hoagies. Add your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, fun.
Phillips 0 for 2 against Vizcaino in their matchups. Brandon beat out a dribbler to first in the first inning, fly to center, then single to center. Taveras, great speed at second. Votto down at first in a 6-6 ball game here in the 6th. That's towards the hole, but Carroll will gobble it up, and that'll do it. So the Reds will strand a couple of more in the 6th inning. We're still tied at 6, heading to the 7th. Time for our Chrysler game summary in a 6-6 ball game. Joey Votto making his first start after missing 10 starts. Homers to give the Reds a 1-0 lead in the first. That's the way it stayed until the second when Mark DeRosa followed a walk to Chu. It's 2-1, DeRosa's 7th homer of the year. And then later in the inning, a base hit by the leadoff hitter Cabrera, and it's 4-1. The Indians had the lead, but the Reds weren't finished. After a walk to Jay Bruce, Ramon Hernandez pulls the Reds to within 1 with his second homer, and Votto did it again. A 3-run homer in the second, 436 feet. The Reds led 6-4. Homer Bailey then had trouble walking the bases loaded in the fifth. Burton comes in, gives up a base hit to DeRosa. So DeRosa picks up 2 more runs batted in on that base hit, and we're tied at 6, and that's where we are. The Reds, with Daniel Ray Herrera on the mound, go to the 7th inning with the number 2 hitter, Grady Sizemore, who walked in the 5th inning and is 0 for 2. He'll lead it off here in the 7th. If you joined us late, Homer Bailey 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 6 runs charged to him. He walked 6 and struck out 3. Your report card on Homer tonight, Chris?
Not good, George. Not good at all. I thought his command would be much better. We were all told by the folks that have seen him pitch down in Louisville that his command was better. Early on, he didn't miss by much, but when he had to throw strikes, he couldn't rear back and throw strikes, and that's a tough thing for a big league pitcher.
He exited the game with a 6-4 lead, and then 2 of his 3 runners that had reached by a walk scored in that 5th inning. So 6 runs charged to him in 4 1/3. 2 balls, 1 strike. Herrera to Sizemore, and it's fouled off. Sizemore, Victor Martinez, and Chu here in the 7th inning. Mike Lincoln is up and loosening now in the Cincinnati pen. The diminutive left-hander peering in for a sign from Hernandez. Loop towards left. Gomes over, got it. 1 away. Here comes Victor, and the best news for the Reds from a pitching perspective thus far is that they've kept this guy off the bases. He was 0 for 4 last night. Came in hitting .400 as the leading hitter in the American League. He's 0 for 3 tonight. The average down to .384, but he's 1 swing away from getting out of a slump the way he performs offensively.
Well, he's a guy that's used to hitting about 23 to 25 home runs a year. Last year, of course, he had the ankle problem. Then he had elbow surgery that he lost half the year on. Only had 2 home runs in the entire season that he played. 7 home runs on the year, so he's got plenty of firepower, no doubt. The Reds have been very fortunate so far in keeping him really from hurting them in this series at all.
Misses, and it's 3-0. Now you know where the Indians are. They come in today 9.5 games back and 11 games under .500. So they're struggling in the Central, and while the Indians have continued to say there are no plans to trade anybody, we keep hearing word around baseball that there are a lot of folks that have inquired about this guy. I mean, Eric Wedge, Jeff Datz is bench coach to the left. Pitching coach Carl Willis to the right of on your screen have played with the cards that have been dealt. Mark Shapiro, the general manager, has said all along, you know, if we get our bullpen straightened out, we still think we can contend. But there are a lot of folks that would love to get their hands on this guy for a stretch run. He can hit big time.
And he can hit lefties a whole lot better this year than he hits right-handers.
I'll take either number.
That is batting left-handed, not against left-handers. So batting left-handed, he's batting right-handed right now, and he's a better hitter.
3-2. Fouled off, and we'll try it again. You saw the offensive numbers for the last 3 seasons. And what you don't see is the way he's matured, and he's become a leader on this ball club. Dribble to short. Giannis has it. The rocket across the infield, and there's 2 away. So Herrera battles back after going 3-0 against the leading hitter in the American League. He finds a way to get a ground ball out. There's 2 away, and here comes Chu. Chu has walked twice and flied out, so 0 for 1 officially. Until you see Danny Herrera in the batter's box, Chris, you can look at video, but you really don't get a picture of it till you see him. Huh?
Well, his arm looks like he's throwing 95 and the ball comes out about 65. So your eyes are telling you one thing, your brain's telling you something else when you're facing him.
What do you trust, your eyes or your brain?
You know, you keep telling yourself you've got to wait back and wait back.
Down the left, there goes Gomes, long run, can't get it, 1 hop off the wall. Chu round second, and he'll settle for a 2-base hit. So a 2-out double the other way. And the potential go-ahead runs in scoring position for Mark DeRosa.
Now this ball coming off the bat of a left-hander is going to slice and slice hard. Chu's not even sure if it's going to stay fair. Gomes, he really doesn't have a chance for this ball because it just kept cutting away from him. You know, if it wasn't a tie game, the chances are that you'd see another outfielder like Chris Dickerson or somebody in left field to pick up the defense a little bit. But in a tie ball game, you don't want to take Gomes' bat out of it. He was very instrumental in last night's win as he doubled to start the rally that ended up putting the Reds ahead.
And here we go again. It's kind of like years past, Chris. It seemed like every time Mark DeRosa was in the lineup last year, especially with the Cubs, he's coming up with runners in scoring position.
And they've got a rookie in the on-deck circle, and that's why they're going to take the bat right out of his hands the same way that Eric Wedge did to Joey Votto.
Tonight, DeRosa homered to give the Indians a 2-1 lead in the second. Hit a hard ground ball, bounced out in the third, and singled to left in the fifth to tie the game at 6. So Dusty doesn't want any part of him here with first base open. And Laporta due up next, with Lincoln in the bullpen loose and ready. So an intentional walk. Now the Reds, good news on the scoreboard. The Twins have won 6-2 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Reds start the day 3.5 back of the Brewers. So they can find a way to get a win out of this one. They can pick up a game on Milwaukee. And they will stick with the left-hander Herrera with Laporta coming to the plate. Laporta single to right, reached on an error on a hard hit ball down to third that bounced off the glove of Hairston. And ended the 5th inning grounding into a double play. That's a shot jerk away foul though up to the third deck. We don't see many hit up there. Against righties this year, Laporta 174, against lefties 273. Facing Herrera for the first time. Yanish got him. Well, a bounce back inning from Danny Herrera. He was on the brink a couple of times, but got the 2 big ones. Victor Martinez and Laporta were still tied at 6. from center field at Great American Ballpark, a jam-packed park tonight, and fans have seen a little bit of everything. 6 runs, 9 hits for Cincinnati. The Reds have left 7 on, and they've committed a couple of errors. The Indians 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They've left 6 on. Well, it was 24 hours ago just about that this guy stepped to the plate in the 8th inning as a pinch hitter and doubled to get the Reds rolling. And the Reds pushed across 2 runs to win it for Bronson Arroyo 3-1. He's leading off the 7th here, trying to get the Reds rolling again. That's a 1-hopper off the leg of DeRosa, and he's going to be on. It was spinning off the end of the bat and caromed off the leg of Mark DeRosa, so the Reds will get the leadoff hitter on here in the 7th.
You know, Mark DeRosa's picked about everything that was shot down to him as out of a cannon, and then so the Reds finally decided to put a little English on that. That's a magician with the bat, George, when you can put that kind of spin on a baseball. You've got to hit it actually right on the end of the bat to do that. And he'll pick up an error, and the Reds reach their first runner.
So the leadoff hitter is on in the 7th. Here comes Jay Bruce. Bruce tonight walked, struck out, bounced out. Trying to shake a mini funk and finally facing a right-handed pitcher. He's faced 4 left-handers this week, plus a left-handed reliever. So he's seen a heavy dose of breaking balls from the left side. We're down to the 6th spot in the lineup for tonight. David Weathers has started to loosen for Cincinnati with the pitcher hitting in the 8th spot. Vizcaino to the stretch. Gomes off first. Jay didn't have a home run off a lefty until this week. 11 of his 12 have been off right-handers.
They had a good series against the Phillies, did Jay Bruce, won 5 hits in 12 at bats there. But you've got to go all the way back to just nearly the beginning of May to find his first game besides those 2 in Philadelphia, against Philadelphia, where he's had more than 1 hit. 0 for 3 last night, 0 for tonight. He can turn things around with a big one right here.
Hit pretty good to right, going back, looking up his chew at the wall. They'll haul it in. Gomes had gone halfway, went back, tried to tag up, couldn't do it, and there's your first out of the inning. Didn't quite get all of it, but still sent Chew back to the wall.
Now they got it pretty good, but not quite enough. The ball not exactly jumping out of here tonight unless it's off the bat of Joey Votto. A sweeping swing on a low breaking ball and put the right fielder right against the wall to make the catch.
That looked like your 9-iron.
He's got more control over that than I do.
The 1 away, the runner still anchored at first is Gomes, and here comes Ramon. Hernandez homered back in the 2nd, his 2nd of the year, a big-time second deck shot, 441 feet to left. Single to right in the 3rd and was intentionally walked in the 5th. Against Vizcaino, he's 2 for 6 in their matchups. Chris Dickerson with the pitcher spot due up next in the on-deck circle. Still on the bench for Dusty Baker, Lance Nix and Chris Dickerson from the left side. Adam Rosales, Hannigan, and of course Michael Owings from the right side. That'll be out of play. 1-2. By the way, I want to send congratulations out to Xavier tonight. They beat the University of Rhode Island Rams to win the A-10 baseball championship. They win it 10-1. They get the automatic bid for the NCAA tournament, their first ever trip.
All right, good for the Muskies. Way to go.
Big day for Muskie baseball. Reds trying to make it a big day for Red Legs baseball too. Here's the 1-2. Missing wide. Now Carl Willis to the bullpen to get somebody up after directions from Eric Wedge. He chases one out of the strike zone, swing and a miss, and that's your second out of the inning. And the Reds have still been unable to get the runner Gomes into scoring position. 2 away. Hey, seniors, enjoy a night of baseball Wednesday, May 27th at 7:10 at a great price at the Red Senior Citizen Specials, presented by Hill Hear Better. Fans age 60 and older can purchase selected non-premium tickets at half price in advance of game day only. For your tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. Here's Dickerson, who will pinch hit for Herrera, who goes an inning and a third and keeps it where it was, tied at 6. Dickerson steps in at 237, a couple of homers, 7 knocked in. His 77th at bat of the season. He's been a sometime starter, sometime defensive replacement, sometime pinch hitter, and the Reds hopeful that he can ignite them here in the 7th. Here goes Gomes. Here comes the throw. It will not be in time, and a stolen base for Johnny. Sneak attack.
Well, sometimes that's the best kind. Martinez, of course, not throwing well. He had arm surgery last year. The runners that can run in the American League are running wild off of a lot of the Indians pitchers, and Vizcaíno hasn't given Martinez a chance yet. Tavera stole a base on the first pitch that he was on first base on. Vizcaíno, big high leg kick, and that'll change the philosophy now with a left-hander Dickerson up there and a base wide open at first.
So they will walk Dickerson intentionally. That'll bring up Giannis in the 9th spot. Giannis came in on the double switch. Bounced back to the pitcher in the 6th inning. Here's his second at bat. Matt Hergis has gotten up and started to loosen in the bullpen for the Indians. A veteran right-hander. Go ahead run. Gomes down at second now with 2 away here in the 7th. Got away with that slider, hanging but high. He represents the lead run. On the inside corner, and it's 2-1. Indiana native who grew up as a Reds fan. Eric Wedge looks on. Luke and out of play.
Well, they were just keeping that steady slider on Paul Giannis. They froze him on a couple of inside ones, and now Vizcaíno is trying to toss it away from him and make him reach. That's what he does right there. That right foot of his kind of going a little bit towards the third base bag and leaves him very susceptible to pulling off of it.
Two.
Got away with another one right there. That was a hanger.
Not the same bite on the slider that he used to have, huh?
That's the old cement mixer right there. And when you get away with it, you're awfully happy. Big sigh of relief.
Two balls, two strikes. Hopped up the elevator shaft. Here's Victor Martinez. He'll squeeze it, and the Reds will strand a pair in the 7th. They've now stranded 9 tonight, and we're still tied at 6.
By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers.
Great to have you with us at Great American Ballpark. Big crowd, 35,821. A 6-6 ball game as we head to the 8th inning. Some changes. Chris Dickerson stays in the game. He goes to left. So Dickerson will be in left. Tavares in center, Bruce in right. Hairston, Giannis, Phillips, Votto across the infield. Hernandez still behind the plate. And here's the new Reds pitcher, David Weathers.
He pitched one game against the Philadelphia Phillies and a couple of times against the Padres, so he's not exactly been overworked lately, has David Weathers. And you would figure, George, if you match up these two bullpens and where they are in the standpoint of health, and now that it's been a bullpen game for several innings, you'd have to give the edge to the Reds, but they've been unable to get that run across to put them up.
Here's the second baseman, Luis Valbuena. Valbuena tonight flied out, struck out, and grounded out 0 for 3. "39-year-old Weathers pitched Thursday against Philadelphia, an inning a hit in a game that the Reds lost 12-5. That's a shot into the right field corner. It's a fair ball. Rounding first, going to second. Valbuena will have a leadoff double here in the 8th inning. That puts the potential go-ahead run in scoring position with no one out.
Well, he tried to get a slider down and inside to Valbuena, and Valbuena was able to just kind of get it off the trademark. Didn't hit it all that hard, but he hit it hard enough and in a great spot down the right field line. So the scrappy second baseman goes in with a double. What, he's got a little butterfly there, George? What did he do? Split his lip last night?
Split lip and.
What'd you do? Go out with him out and carousing on the town?
No, I think he went to Taste of Cincinnati. Just ate too much today.
You're not supposed to eat the fork.
Did you get down there today at all?
No. I was busy watching games. Maybe tomorrow.
Taste of Cincinnati tonight. Tomorrow all day, starting at noon, and then again on Monday.
I can tell you one thing. It tastes a lot better after a Reds win.
I hear they have food there, too. Not just drinks. It is outstanding. Showing bunt is Carroll. They'll look to third, take the out at first. Well, Jamie Carroll usually gets the job done, and he does here. A sacrifice fly that moves the sacrifice bunt that moves the runner to third. So 1 out, runner at third. That'll force the Reds to bring the infield in. And don't forget, tomorrow NASCAR on Fox heads to Charlotte, North Carolina, where Casey Kane's going to try to defend his title against the full field of the world's best drivers. Coverage of the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte begins Sunday at 5 and high definition right here on Fox. So Carroll gets the sacrifice down, and Ryan Garco comes out of the dugout to hit for Vizcaino in the 9th spot. And again, we told you already, Eric Wedge has used the lone left-handed pinch hitter he has. So it's righty-righty again. Weathers against Garco. In their previous matchups, Garco 3 for 4 and a home run against David Weathers. Infield in for Cincinnati with 1 out.
Tough situation for David Weathers right here. He needs a strikeout from Garco, and he's facing a guy that sees the ball very well off of him.
Garco, the former Stanford catcher who once won the Johnny Bench Award as the outstanding collegiate catcher. Now DHs and plays first for the Indians. There's your matchup with the game on the line here in the 8th inning. The speedy Valbuena down at third. One and one. Boy, he commands that part of the plate.
Well, you know what? If he doesn't command it, he wouldn't be in the big leagues as long as he has been. That's a slider on the outside corner, and a good one.
No room for error or mistake here, so Hernandez and Weathers will make it clear what they want to do.
Yeah, and they're probably talking about more than just one pitch. You're not saying, all right, on this pitch, what do you want to throw? It's like, all right, let's set up the pitch we want to get him out on. Maybe we want to throw an outside fastball right here and come back with a slider in the same spot. There's the fastball. David Weathers has that fastball that against left-handers he throws it at their belt buckle and it comes back and gets the inside corner. Same idea right there. Now likely a slider down and away. See if we can get Garco to chase. Nope, heater inside and he just barely misses.
And you can see Garco was looking down and away, and he almost snuck it in under his hands.
Good idea right there by the Reds battery. Little extra movement at the very end. You see Ramon Hernandez trying to frame that baby. That gives you a clear view that even he doesn't think it's a real strike.
2 balls, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And he'll walk him. So top of the order, Cabrera due out. Here comes Dusty. And he's got his scorecard with him. And Adam Rosales is trotting out of the dugout. So another double switch. And while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports. 14 and younger at the ballpark at tomorrow's game going to receive a very special giveaway. It's the Webkins Littlekins branded plush pig giveaway, courtesy of Banquet. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. It is cute. So if you come out to the ballpark, take one home. Changes for the Reds. Jerry Hairston Jr. moves from third to short. Into the ball game at third is Adam Rosales. So Rosales in at third, and here's the new pitcher from one 39-year-old, that a right-hander David Weathers, to another 39-year-old, the left-hander Arthur Rhodes.
Well, I was wondering about the move earlier when Dusty Baker took out a right-hander to bring in Danny Herrera to pitch to Cabrera. Cabrera's this year, the numbers show you that he hits much less against left-handed pitching than he does against right-handers. And he's a pretty good left-hander right there. This is the numbers we were talking about. This is what Dusty Baker looks at. Say, all right, against right-handers, he's only he's batting left-handed. That is, he's .353 batting right-handed, which he wouldn't be right now. He's .240. But if you look at his career numbers, they're exactly the opposite. So he shows you that in his career, he's a much better hitter hitting right-handed against lefties than he is the other way. Those are confusing numbers. Baker's going with what's going on currently.
He's 0 for 1 against Rhodes. He steps in first and third, and there's strike one. One away. The Reds playing double play depth middle of the infield. So they'll try for two to get out of the inning. Cabrera, who runs well, difficult to double up. Tonight he walked, caught stealing, singled in 2 runs in the second, walked and struck out. This one nubbed down to third. They're not going to get 2. They'll get 1, but a run will score. Well, sometimes you make the right pitch and good things happen, and sometimes you have no control over it. Good pitch by Arthur and a weak ground ball.
Sometimes that's all you need. If you're Cabrera, you don't want to hit it too hard on the ground. It would be a double play ball. You want to hit it somewhere where they ain't, or hit it soft enough to get that run in. And that is the go-ahead run.
So that run will be charged to David Weathers, and the Indians take a 7-6 lead here in the 8th. Barco goes from first to second, so a runner at second, 2 away, and here comes Sizemore. Popped out, grounded out, walked, and flied out. Sizemore 0 for 2 against Rhodes. Became a pro in 1988. Bounced from National League to the American League. Wherever he's been an effective left-handed reliever. Started his career as a big-time strong starter. 8 different times in his career has had stints on the disabled list for varying injuries, including Tommy John surgery. A lot of folks thought he'd never come back from it 3 years ago, but he has. Here's the 1-1.
Now, we taped some tech talks with him, George, earlier this week, and you know, one of the keys to his longevity is the fact that he keeps things so simple. I mean, just a very simple delivery. He always pitches out of the stretch, doesn't make a lot of excess movement out there, and it lends itself to consistency.
Hit hard. Phillips bobbles but still holds on, and they'll get the out. Boy, that was hit a ton. And is Brandon Phillips okay? It looked like it kind of ran up on his throwing hand on the thumb, and he might have Time for our John Morrell Hot Dog Play of the Day. Came early after last night. 3 brilliant plays by Alex Gonzalez. He starts the first inning off with this play, Chris.
I'll tell you what, George, he went a long way like a wide receiver on a fly pattern right there. Just keep on going, Alex. We'll get you the ball over your shoulder. And he was right there to make the catch. That ball would have been extra bases had he not been there. Our John Morrell Hot Dog Play of the game. This was our hot thumb play of the game. This is the last play of the inning right here. Brandon Phillips got it. It looked like it came up on his thumb. May have split his skin, either peeled his fingernail back or whatever, but you can see that he's bleeding right there, and that can't feel too good.
Right off the tip of the thumb. Mark Mann down swabbing it and putting a Band-Aid on it. We'll see if he is able to stay in the game. He made the final out of the last of the inning before last, so he's not due up until the 4th spot this inning as the Reds get the leadoff hitter on. Willie Taveras will come up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Taveras is 0 for 3 in a walk. They got him on in the 6th inning and he stole a base. They'd love to get him on again. 1st and 3rd in, tie to step onto the grass for Taveras. Back to the bullpen. Rafael Betancourt comes in. He'll get it up there with a little bit of velocity into the 90s. A reliable reliever over the last few years for the Indians. 1 ball, 1 strike. Taveras, Jerry Hairston Jr., and then the guy who's been the offensive star for the Reds tonight, Joey Votto. 2 home runs and 4 runs batted in. 6 runs, 9 hits, 9 left for the Reds, 7 runs, 6 hits, 7 left for the Indians. Great to have you with us. George Grant, Chris Welch up in the booth. Christian Roberts, our producer, down in the truck. Brian Hunterman, our director tonight. Sarah Mann, Lauren White, our associate producers tonight. Matt Sigafus producing our pregame activities today. And don't forget, Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro will be by for postgame of Reds Live after tonight's game. Hopefully the smiling side of the scoreboard for the Reds tonight. They trail at 7-6. Another 2-strike count for Willie Taveras. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Betancourt will get it up to 94, sometimes 95, but he pitches at 92, 93. So he gets it up there where he's attacking Taveras. Gets a lot of fly balls and a lot of strikeouts.
Well, he used to be, George, one of the most deliberate pitchers out there. He looks like he's sped up the film a little bit this year.
2-2. Looped into left, sink in, it will drop for a base hit. Big turn, and holding at first will be Taveras. A long run for Laporta. And the Reds get the benefit of this bloop for a base hit, and the leadoff hitter's on in the 8th.
Well, they don't ask you how they are. They ask you how many you have as far as base hits. Doesn't matter whether it's a line drive or a bloop. You need the speedster on base, and he's there. Now the question is, does he know the move of Betancourt? Does he feel comfortable in stealing? And will Jerry Hairston give him a pitch or 2 to go?
Betancourt this season is retired. Only 1 of 3 who have tried to steal against him. And we told you about Martinez at 14% coming in. Already tonight, Taveras has 1 stolen base. And stolen base numbers are really relative. I mean, he's got 12 on the year. Where they count is when Joe Morgan used to cash him in the 8th or 9th inning in a 1-run ball game. If you're Pete Rose or Joe Morgan, that's when the stolen bases meant something. A little bigger lead for Taveras. Willie off the bag at first, and they'll chase him back. Ryan Hannigan with bat in hand. That may tell you all you need to know about Brandon Phillips, who's due to hit after Votto. Still waiting to deliver the first pitch to Jerry Hairston Jr. You give him a pitch or two to steal a base, Chris, or do you bunt him over?
Absolutely. I give him a pitch or two. If he can steal the base, then I bunt him the third. And Hairston's been great at that. I mean, you can't ask for a better #2 hitter than what Jerry Hairston has done for the Reds with Willie Taveras when he gets on base ahead of him. He has given Taveras every opportunity nearly every time he comes to the plate to steal if he decides to do so.
Taveras peers over. Hairston steps out to look at Mark Berry, who rolls through his signs in the third base coach's box. Little bigger lead for Taveras this time. Not going. Popped up, but it'll be out of play.
What Betancourt is able to do and what he's doing out here is the easiest thing for a right-hander to try to suppress the running game. And he's holding the ball varying amounts of time. That last time before he delivered that pitch to Hairston, he held it and held it and held it and held it. And you kind of take the runner out of his rhythm. If he did want to go on that pitch, you really take your runner out of it. Not likely to go here on an 0-2 pitch because you can waste a high fastball and kind of a modified pitch out and run right into an out.
No balls, 2 strikes to Hairston. Hangs in there tough again on the 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's really close to a balk is what Betancourt does before he comes to a complete set. He kind of brings his left leg back, settles it, moves it a little bit, just slightly, moves it again, and then comes to rest. There's the quick move to first base.
0-2 again. In the air behind second base. Cabrera has it, and there's your first out. So the Reds fail to move the runner over, and there's one away here in the 8th. Get him on, get him over, get him in has been a prescription that worked last night for the Reds. Today the runs have come with the big blast. Joey Votto a home run in the first. Ramon Hernandez a home run in the second, and then Votto a 3-run shot that gave the Reds a 6-4 lead in the second. And here comes Joey again. 2 homers, 4 runs batted in, a ground out, and an intentional walk. Runner not going, that misses wide. Brandon Phillips due up next. As we suspected, Ryan Hannigan is waving a bat in the on-deck circle. going. That's wide again.
Well, he's thrown nothing but fastball after fastball. So if you're waiting for a breaking ball to steal a base, you may be waiting a long time, but that may be a good thing for Joey Votto. Knowing that a fastball is coming.
Two balls, no strikes. Right center field. It'll stay in the park. Here comes Chu. He's there. The runner goes halfway, and Taveras will retreat.
Well, he took something off that pitch, and he had Votto way out in front. The first time he changed speed so far, Rafael Betancourt pulled a little rabbit out of his hat and got the Reds' best hitter out.
So that'll bring up Hannigan. Another look. He's hitting because of this. Brandon Phillips making the final out of the last inning, and that index, the thumb on the right hand, the throwing hand, got the worst of that hop. It looked like it either split the nail or at the very least broke skin at the tip of the nail. So Mark Mann and the training crew administered to him, so he's out of the game, and here comes Hannigan. So here comes Ryan, first at bat of tonight. And after the leadoff base hit by Taveras, he's still anchored at first. Has not attempted to steal at all in this inning. A pop up and a fly ball out, 2 away, and he's still sitting there. I'm amazed that he hasn't tried to run at least once in the inning.
You know, George, maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable doing it, but what we've seen of Willie Taveras is that when he doesn't feel comfortable, he doesn't go. I mean, knowing the way that Victor Martinez has had problems throwing, even if you don't get a great jump off the pitcher, you still put the onus on the catcher to make a good throw on you, especially when you have his speed. I mean, Betancourt is not easy. He's working him. He's thrown over a couple of times very quickly. He's stepped off. He's held the ball. He's done just about everything a right-hander can do to keep that runner close. Last year they stole 10 and they only threw out 1 when he was on the mound. You just saw the numbers for this year.
He's going this time, and it's fouled off.
Yeah, but now you got 2 outs and 2 strikes on the hitter. I mean, you've so dramatically reduced your odds, just statistically speaking, of being driven home by a base hit when you get into this count.
Taveras has already stolen 1 tonight. That was back in the 6th after he walked with 1 out. He was left stranded in that inning. No balls, 2 strikes. Not going, and it's wide. Here's your 1-2 from Betancourt. He's going. And it's fouled off one more time. There's bluffs going. Here's a soft liner right at Chu. Battles the lights and finally hauls it in. Chu fighting the lights. Betancourt fighting the speed of Taveras. The Indians hold on to a 1-run lead. The Mega Million jackpot and the Ohio Lottery at $25 million. Can't win if you don't purchase a ticket. Well, the Reds defense looks like this. Adam Rosales moves from third to second. Hairston's still at short. Votto still at first, and that means that from behind the plate, Ramon Hernandez will move to third. Now, he's never played third in a major league game. He does take ground balls there, as he does at first base. And when the spring training, Dusty Baker, trying to be as versatile as he could, talked to just about everybody. Jay Bruce volunteered to play some first if needed. And Ramon Hernandez is going over and above the call of duty, Chris. He's going down to third with Brandon Phillips out of the game.
Well, George, in a whisper, he told me that playing first base was easy. Let's hope it's just as easy down there at the hot corner tonight. Maybe the ball won't find him, and we'll never know. But it only has one inning unless the Reds can tie this baby up and we go extras.
And as soon as we hear anything further on Brandon Phillips, we'll pass it on to you. There's a swing by Victor Martinez, and it's fouled off down the right field line. First thing you do, and remember, Ramon's a catcher, so you tell all your pitchers when the right-handed batters come up right, pitch them away. Victor, a off-season friend of Ramon Hernandez, kind of peered down at him and smiled and laughed as he saw him taking ground balls out there. Both of them natives of Venezuela. Victor tonight 0 for 4, second straight 0 for 4 night. Not often this year he has gone 2 straight games without a base hit. The league's leading hitter in the American League. Came into the series at 400, now down to 282, and this should be 0 for 5. Bruce has it. One away. One away, top of 9 if you're looking at the bottom of the 9th inning. with Phillips' spot already used. It's 5, 6, and 7 up for the Reds. Here's Chu, on base 3 times, 2 walks, and a double. If you're just joining us, the Reds took a lead on Joey Votto's first homer in the first inning, 1-0. Mark DeRosa, after a walk to Chu, homered in the second to give the Indians a 2-1 lead. And the Reds roared back in their half of the second inning. A walk to Bruce, a homer by Ramon Hernandez brought the Reds to within 1, and that guy did it again. Joey came to the plate with 2 on in the second. Hit his second homer of the game, 7th of the year, a 3-run shot. The Reds led 6-4. All of this behind Homer Bailey. Bailey went 4 to 3rd innings, allowed only 3 hits, but walked 6, and eventually was charged with 6 runs. In the 5th inning, he walked 3, left with the bases loaded. Jared Burton came in, gave up a base hit again to DeRosa. That tied it at 6. And the Indians eventually took the lead on the ground ball out. Off the bat of Cabrera to take a 7-6 lead. Base hit by Chu into center, so 1 out and 1 on. And here comes DeRosa again. And out comes Dusty Baker with DeRosa coming to the plate. DeRosa tonight homered, singled in 2, 4 runs batted in, 2 for 3, intentionally walked last time. .com's At Bat 209 on your iPhone and iPod Touch. Get real-time play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcast. Visit Reds.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase and don't miss any Reds baseball this season. Well, here comes Mike Lincoln with 1 out and 1 on in the 9th inning. The Indians lead it by 1, 7-6, and Lincoln, who's gotten DeRosa out all 5 times that he's faced him, will have to try to do it again, Chris.
And you got to figure that that's exactly what Dusty Baker does. He does a lot of his own charting work before every series and every ball game, and he knows what the matchups are, and this is an important one for him right here, despite the fact that Lincoln has been struggling. The bad news about Lincoln is that his earned run average is high. He's walked a lot of batters. The good news is he hasn't walked a batter in the last 4 games. But he has given up runs in his last 2 appearances. The Reds cannot afford to give up another run here.
Chu has 6 stolen bases, so you can't forget about him down at first. DeRosa, homer and a single, 4 runs batted in on the evening. Again, if you're just joining us, a couple of home runs from Joey Votto. Homer Bailey's first start of the year, 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 6 runs allowed on 6 walks. The other big news of the night, Brandon Phillips had to exit after taking a bouncing ground ball off his thumb, and the thumb split, whether it's on the nail or just the skin, we're not sure. We haven't heard anything from the Reds clubhouses yet, but he had to leave the game. That's necessitated Hannigan in the game and Ramon Hernandez down at third. Dickerson, Taveras, Bruce in the outfield, Hernandez, Harrison, Rosales, Votto in the infield, and Hannigan behind the plate. Here's the 2-0.
Not even close.
And it's ball 3. That's right in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. Matt Laporta on deck behind DeRosa. A bluffing effort by Chu, and here's a fly ball to right. Bruce under it, got it. Chu had gone 3 steps and then slammed on the brakes, and there's 2 away. So bounce back effort by Lincoln. He gets DeRosa, and here comes Laporta. One-run lead for the Indians, and the former Chicago Cubs starter and closer Kerry Wood, who's now the closer in Cleveland. You're familiar with that motion, huh? He's loosening in the bullpen.
Yeah, you got to figure that he's the guy they're going to go to. If this Indians team is going to get well, they're going to need help in the bullpen at the very end, and that would be Kerry Wood. That's why they got him.
Laporta tonight, single, reached on an error, stole a base, and bounced out twice. Lincoln breaking ball drops in there for a strike, and it's a ball and a strike.
Now that became his calling card last year, Mike Lincoln, when he came up and got healthy finally after several years out and fashioned himself to 64 different ball games that he was in for with the Reds, and that curveball was a very important pitch.
Breaking ball misses inside. It's 2-1. Rosales, Bruce, Hernandez due up for Cincinnati in the bottom of 9. Now 3-1 to Matt Laporta.
Well, he went 3-1 to Mark DeRosa and got him on a fastball to fly out to right center field. He's missed with a couple of breaking balls, and which way will they go right here? Laporta, I would imagine, George, haven't seen him a lot, but I would imagine he's a pretty good fastball hitter.
That's a 3-1 walk.
I'll tell you what, there have been a number of times tonight Rob Drake is not getting a lot of barking from both dugouts, but there have been, looks like a somewhat of a tight strike zone. Does this any time go past the in that strike zone cylinder?
Even Laporta wasn't sure. He turned around and said, was that a strike or not?
He does what a good rookie should do, which is turn and very politely ask Mr. Umpire, was that a ball or a strike? Before I fling the bat away, go down first base, and you get angry with me.
So now an insurance run out at second. And here's the second baseman, Valbuena, who flied out, struck out, bounced out, and he started the rally in the 8th inning with a leadoff double into the right field corner. Up left side, should be caught. Foul territory. Hernandez there. He's got it. Without the catcher's glove, Ramon hauls it in. Can the Reds rally? Going. Crete for affordable home improvement projects. Visit quickcrete.com. And by the Ohio Lottery, proud sponsor of the Ohio Cup Series. Play ball. Odds are you'll have fun. Well, the Reds took game 1 of this interleague series in the battle for the Ohio Cup last night. Bronson Arroyo pitched great. Coco Cordero came down and nailed down the victory. They needed a late rally to break up a 1-1 tie. Here they need a rally to at least tie it and prolong it, and they'll have to do it against an old nemesis, Chris, Kerry Wood.
Well, he was a closer for the Cubs last year, obviously a starter for the Cubs for many years, going all the way back to 1998. But last year, 34 of 40 he saved for the Chicago Cubs. Also had a 5-4 record this year. He is 6 for 8 in save opportunities. He got banged around his last time out. Don't worry about the earned run average. He only has 14 innings under his belt. He has not had a lot of work, and that's one of the things that he's made him somewhat wild.
And part of that's been the nature of the way the Indian season has gone. They haven't had many closing opportunities. Wood in his career 13-5 against the Reds, an ERA of 3.01. Of course, most of those appearances have been as a starter, and the Reds average against him for his career, Chris, the batting average against is .198. He's always been tough on Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
Here's Rosales, who's facing him for the first time. Rosales in the 5th spot, followed by Bruce and then Ramon Hernandez.
Well, the numbers show that this year anyway, he might be tonight, but he hasn't been so far the Kerry Wood of last year. Last year, Kerry Wood all year long walked 18 batters. This year, in 14 innings, he's already walked 10.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Rosales. And that's way high. And even watching him warming up in the bullpen, he threw 3 of them right up about there. That's rifled into center. The tying run is going to be on. Rosales takes a big turn and will slam on the brakes on a perfect throw into second. So Adam Rosales, who got the go-ahead hit last night, gets a leadoff hit in the ninth tonight.
Well, he showed him a couple of fastballs, but they were way above his head. This time he comes right at the top end of the strike zone. And boy, Adam Rosales, this young man has a knack for just rising to the occasion. Drove in the big run last night with a base hit to send Johnny Gomes back, and he gets the 9th inning going tonight.
Here's Jay Bruce, who's 0 for 1 against Kerry Wood. Big swing on that fastball at 95 miles an hour, and it's strike 1.
All right, that ought to be the biggest swing that Jay Bruce takes. Wood will supply the power. Tighten up your swing, get the bat in the zone.
Jay tonight, walk, struck out, grounded out, flied out. Reds trying to rally again for a big crowd here at Great American. Way high. Wood signed as a free agent this December after 14 years in the Cubs organization. Last year, the first time he was a closer, and that's popped back and out of play. Most of his career as a starter. When you had Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, and Zambrano, boom, 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 you thought they'd have 3 starters. It'd be big time for years. Zambrano's the only one left.
I wonder how he likes the atmosphere in Cleveland compared to Wrigley.
It's a little different. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little different at the baseball side. It was a little different last night when LeBron James nailed the bucket with his second left to keep the Cavaliers alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just about a year ago that Jay Bruce delivered a walk-off homer. That was against the Atlanta Braves on the last day of May. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to duplicate that here against the hard-throwing Kerry Wood, and it's 3-2.
Well, Kerry Wood in his last appearance had a meltdown. Had a lead going into the final inning against Kansas City. Ended up walking 3 batters, and the ball game was over.
There goes Rosales. There's a shot to right. Going back. Looking up. It is caught by Chu. Boy, Chu has been pushed to the wall twice, and twice he's responded. Bruce didn't miss it by much.
Boy, he got a little spinner of a breaking ball right there, and he thought it had a chance when it came off the bat. I think everybody left in his ballpark did. The ball just dies right at the wall.
Rosales had gone all the way to second and hustled back to first. So now 1 out. Rosales still on. Here comes Ramon, who's 1 for 3 in his career against Kerry Wood. Ball squirts away from Martinez, but Rosales holds.
Kerry Wood is overthrowing his breaking ball so much. It's coming in there at 88 to 89 miles an hour, and it doesn't have time to break. It's just kind of slipping right out of his hand. Overthrowing his fastball also, as you can tell, with those balls that are nearly going over the head of the catcher.
You see Ramon's night. He had a 2-run homer in the second that pulled the Reds to within 1, 4-3. Singled, intentionally walked, and then struck out. The Reds faithful trying to cheer their team on here in the ninth. And it's a ball and a strike. $35,821 at Great American Ballpark tonight. A little bigger lead for Rosales. Not going. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Well, the previous pitch was 96 miles an hour. This one was a breaking ball. Not a lot of break on it, but he fooled him with the speed. Coming in about 9 miles an hour slower than the previous fastball.
That's hit hard down to short. 6-4 on to first. That'll do it. Well, the Reds used the double play to their advantage last night, and tonight here at Great American Ballpark, Kerry Wood gets a inning-ending and game-ending double play that gives his club a 7-6 win over the Reds to salvage Game 2 of this 3-game series as we head to the final.